Futures looking at a bit of a mixed open so far this morning. We were positive to start, but coming back to the downside a little bit as the U.S. deals with its first confirmed case of the Omicron variant that was confirmed yesterday out in California. It is, however, some of the travel stocks that are leading early on this morning. Airlines, cruise lines, even the hotels back in positive territory. So we'll have a look at travel names coming up here, but interesting morning setting up here. Airlines specifically positive surrounding Boeing, not an airline, but plane maker higher after China issues a airworthiness certification for the 737 MAX for the first time after it was grounded for more than a year because of multiple different issues. Yesterday at the close, we had the Dow down about 460 points or 1.3% when all was said and done. The S&P 500 1.18, the NASDAQ 1.8% leading. That was a dramatic reversal after being up more than 1% to start things off. Weekly jobless claims numbers just out, looks like basically in line with expectations there. We'll touch on that coming up. DWAC back in positive territory and then some this morning. Digital World Acquisition Corporation along with PHUN and that Remark Holdings also back on the move this morning. Lots to discuss. It's Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. A bit of a mixed start. As I mentioned there, the NASDAQ slipping from where we were when I sat down this morning, back in negative territory now, ever so slightly though. 0.15%. The Dow, the S&P higher for both. The TSX futures here in Toronto also in positive territory. Brazil having a nice day so far, 1.8%. Crude oil basically flat. Big reversal in oil and energy markets yesterday as well. You can see Bitcoin and Ethereum back to the downside after a reversal yesterday on that Omicron news from California. The first case confirmed out in California. Here we go again. What to expect this morning? Going to be an interesting one, guys. We were much more positive than where we are at this point when I first sat down this morning. But here we go, trying to get back in the right direction.
Yes, sir. We're definitely trying to get there. And although it's a SPAC-filled kind of day, I only say that because DWAC's back in play. And then there's a Canadian company, headquartered in Canada, this Rumble company, which I didn't really know anything about it until this morning. And they're going public via SPAC, the CFEI, which we're already going to be trading. Look, the Apple news, obviously not the best in the world there, Sean.
Nope.
So the market was, like Brendan said, was looking pretty much green. Snowflake had a big beat, and even like C3AI with a slight beat, and they were up a little bit today. So there were some names that were looking pretty good, and Boeing had positive news. And then, of course, Apple kind of trending into the downside. But hey, we're going to get those movers for you guys today. It's all about the trade, but not the best way to start, because it did feel like after yesterday, you need to bounce. You kind of felt like this could have been a nice little up day. And then Apple throws a little bit of a wrench in. It's not to say it's over yet, though.
Yeah, it's close. Apple, damn it. I was going to start the show and say, like, you know, as long as these big guys, and I sat down here and I said that to Neil, it's like as long as Microsoft and Apple and all these names don't roll over, that the market's going to be fine, because, you know, there's a flight to safety. We've learned from this mistake. The Delta variant, the market, and I looked this up, Neil, I know you were looking for this information, but we went down 6%, so peak to trough during Apple, I have Apple up here, during Delta. Right now, as of yesterday, it's 5%. For Omicron. So right now we have a little bit more to go if history repeats itself. So and I think history is definitely repeating itself, because there's so many names that are getting crushed here, and a flight to value worked. I mean, yesterday Microsoft and Apple were positive. Can you even believe that? Or slightly, I don't know what their last print was, but they definitely weren't down very much, if anything at all. And then now today you're coming in and you're seeing Apple take down that 160. It's a nervous spot for me, because you got to go back, and it's fine. it's only nervous. It's not nervous on a chart because we're only going back to where we were on the 29th of November, and that's if we touch 157 today, which I believe we do. It's just nervous for me because we're once again the biggest and baddest. Apple and Microsoft, 12% of the S&P and 22% of the NASDAQ. Like, can you imagine that? Two stocks, 12% of the S&P 500. Okay, so now that you're getting that rollover, 20% and 22% of the NASDAQ, yeah, this could just start again, you know, an amplification. It's not a bad word for this early.
That's a school word right there.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Of an amplification of negativity in the market one more time, because nothing. If these companies aren't going to save it, and then Apple's going to warn of, well, we just talked about it, their supply chain again, and we thought that they had that sort of under wraps, and now you're going to see this start to break down. I was going to take a 160 short on Apple, and I was actually debating getting out some of this in my own account, but at the same time, I said I'm never going to sell Apple again, so I'm going to try to stick with that. That might be a big problem. But yeah, iPhone 13 scaled back now. Not good, man. I mean, I got my Pixel real quick because I pre-ordered it, and you know, I've been with them for a long time, and Arun's still waiting for his. Prad went to the store, couldn't get it. So I mean,
some people give up when they can't.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think that rhetoric is right. So I am nervous here, Brendan, as Apple continues to fall. But whatever. Like I said yesterday, don't look at your portfolio for a few days. And as I put on the sticky note today, it's all over there. We can, you know, why don't we just read this quickly? I just put it out here just because it's basically my thoughts for the day here. And I just want to say here, you know, I put the sticky note out and I said, tough day as we wait to see the market direction. Take these levels with a grain of salt, the levels that I have on here, you know, until we can see what these big guys want to do. I still think it's time to start nibbling, but not for a full position. It's just too early right now. So DWAC, Square, Palantir, Microsoft, Win, Roblox, all names that I think need to be looked at today. DWAC for obvious reasons. And then the other 4 or 5 on here, I definitely like to start to build positions as I'm amazed that Win is down to $76. Apparently their enterprise value just of the properties alone is 13 or 14 billion by itself, and I think the market cap is down to 8 billion. So I mean, they could sell their properties and get a bump of 30-40%,
or they could get bought.
I mean,
when
I'm trying to look smart here, Neil. Then you step in and do that.
No, I was going to say, but when you become that kind of a value, usually that's what it means.
Let me make sure, because you know what? I'm going to be loading up the boat here. Market cap Win. Brandon, if you, I have it. Yeah, $8 billion.
Yeah.
$8 billion. And as of their last report, and there's something about someone in Vegas was giving all these analysis of the different properties. And if you include Macau.
Someone's going to buy them.
Yeah, and you include Macau and you include Win, which is one of the more elite casinos there. I know some of you guys have just been there to Vegas. I think it was Damien was there, and it's pretty busy still.
Nice.
So yeah. So anyways, Win. That's one of my new picks.
Yeah, it might be interesting for those casinos. It's interesting, Sean. You were saying about the top to bottom when the Delta first peaked its head up. I was reading about that last night as well. Coincidentally, it was almost exactly a month it took as well from top to bottom before the market kind of headed back to the upside. So this is a little bit faster of a timeline, but we are still within those kind of same boundaries as far as where we might go in the overall market. Before we go any further, Miss V is back once again. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Happy Trading Thursday to you all. I wish you luck. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed, guys, get it started. Lots to talk about this morning before we get to the open. You guys were just discussing Win. There was actually a positive note out this morning from multiple different analysts here talking about all the casinos with Macau exposure as well, and some improvement along the Macau front. So LVS, Win, MGM, they also listed Melco Resorts as well, but up across the board, kind of 1.5 to 2.5% here for these. So a little more, positivity, as you were saying, coming back into some of those names.
Yep.
So the one thing I would say to the whole, like, it's happened, like, history repeating itself is one would think that given the reaction that we had last time, it wouldn't quite repeat itself, right? Like if the initial read that everyone had, well, not I shouldn't say everyone, if the initial read that some of the data coming in is saying is that it's not necessarily as severe, but maybe more transmissible, and then we saw the type of recovery that got put in after Delta, and consider the fact that there's no way we lock down the same way when we have a vaccination out there and it still confers some protection. Like all of those things would lead me to believe that the drop wouldn't be as big or necessarily as long. But I mean, that's the kind of value that, and ultimately you can't, at some point you can't ignore it, right? Like it's one thing when the market sells off on, you know, taper, all this nonsense, and it's another on the high valuation names, I should say, or overvalued names, or, you know, stocks, companies that aren't even making any money. And it's another thing when you have, you know, good sort of solid businesses that you know are going to have future cash flows that end up in depressed value. And I've never been like I've never really been a huge casino person. Like I very, very briefly owned some Penn shares. I think I told you guys all about that story because it was a score. But at the end of the day, you know, it gets out of hand. And I think this is one of those, like Wynn's one of those stocks that now is just making all the sense in the world. Now, obviously, there's going to be other plays to be had here, and the sensible thing usually is to wait it out and get more data, and there'll be some, you know, plenty of time. We just started December, you know, there's probably at least a couple of weeks for things to settle down a little bit as we get data through and through. The biggest fear, one of the other things we were talking about before we came on air would be, is not necessarily directly related to the casinos. My biggest fear would be that you have like wide scale sort of like lockdowns put in place again in China, where all the big ports are, and then in the rest of Southeast Asia, like you get like Singapore. You don't want those things to happen, because if we're having supply chain issues already, and then you get a double down disruption, you know, it doesn't even have to be more severe. If the reaction to it is as if it's severe and you get more lockdowns, then it doesn't really make a difference. You're still going to have all those shocks, and that's going to exacerbate this. And then the global turnaround is not going to come as fast as we want. That could really hurt some of the retailers that were under pressure last time. So I'd be a little bit wary of some of those. The ones that I like your Pepsis and your Procters, I think you're fine there, but some of the apparel retailers could come under some strain, and I'd be a little bit leery of those stocks in the next couple of weeks or so as we collect more data. But then when it's just a pure value play here, like that's just a buy, win, and hold it for a year kind of thing. Like that's such a different story. It's such a safer play.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to. I mean, I'm already into Wynn a little bit here, but you know what? The thing is that someone mentioned here as well. I know that we have Macau exposure, and I think if we didn't have Macau exposure, I don't think we would be down here for Wynn. So I think that I understand that, but this is not. So let me just pull back some of this talk. The market is actually not really falling on Omicron. I mean, it is. We saw that yesterday. There was one case in the U.S. and the market started to go down. I believe that was just a reason to continue the selling with Jerome Powell and what he's been talking about with inflation and what's going to be happening here with the tapering and the eventual rise of interest rates and things like that. I mean, I really think that this is really, in my opinion anyways, the real underlying tone here for the market. Omicron is just a excuse, in my opinion anyways, to sell right now and then hopefully buy back in next week or something like that. So I mean, that's a major shift for the Fed to come out and say what they did, talk about tapering, talk about the transitory factor and basically removing that word. So I mean, this is a definite big change to policy, big change to, I mean, Janet Yellen's still there. Like, I mean, we went from dovish to very, very hawkish just this week. And I think that that's going to be a huge problem moving forward. So, or last week, whenever they said that, I think it's last week now at this point. But I just think the selling is going to continue on that news. And then you mix in the virus. And not only that, people are looking and like, hey, the markets are still pretty much near all-time highs, yet we have supply chain issues. We now have a hawkish stance with the Fed, and we have more virus concerns, right? So whatever, this is just not a great time here. A lot of these upstarts and Palantirs and I mean, there's Airbnb. I mean, there's numerous stocks here that have been getting hit in this environment, and I think it eventually will subside. But for right now, this is the Powell effect happening in the opposite way, Brendo.
Yeah, one thing that kind of backs up that, I mean, look at the vaccine makers today, mostly in negative territory. Let's talk a little more cheerful topics for the time being. We'll get back into some of this news in a minute. Our good friend, Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto, back with us to discuss some opportunities. Rahim, great to see you as always as we head into the holiday season. Speaking of names that were under pressure yesterday, we'll kick things off with Canada Goose. What on earth happened yesterday?
So they've been in a little bit of trouble in China with respect to opening sales again. They got in trouble 3 months ago for false advertising, and they were fined about $100,000. But this most recent one, they had a spate with some customers who wanted to return their jackets and were told that they could not return their jackets. So one of China's agencies basically said, no brand is above the law and customers' rights always come first. And Canada Goose said that they weren't going to allow returns. Then they came back and said no comment. So when you put those two things together, Canada Goose stock yesterday tucked down about 7%, down to $41. So expect to see some further volatility depending on where their meetings go with a couple of government agencies in Shanghai that have called them in to take them to task on their no refund policy. So there's always been whispers around that policy being there in China for them. But I guess, now that it came to light, it's probably not a good look for them. And the stock obviously got kicked a bit yesterday on that. So expect some volatility still there on that name until they have a resolution or at least a formal comment.
Yeah, monster quarter. If you go back to a daily chart, I mean, huge gap up on the earnings. This move down yesterday completely, negates that entire gap higher. So we're right back to pre-earnings levels here for Canada Goose. It's an important season for all of these, obviously. So we'll see what some of the sales numbers come from Canada Goose, obviously, after the fact. Aritzia as well, obviously a Canadian name, Canadian company, one that we pay attention to.
Yeah, that's one that we've talked about a couple of times. And what stood out about them in the last little while is the fact that they have not had any supply chain issues, like a lot of other retailers have used that as the reason for maybe poorer quarterly sales coming up in the holiday season. Aritzia has said that they should not expect any supply chain issues. They've also, during COVID, spent a lot of time getting their online platform set up, getting those better finely tuned, and a more aggressive US push. And all of those things have sort of led Aritzia to, as you can tell by the chart right there, it's done really well. We talked about Aritzia just before their Q numbers came out about 2 months ago. It was at $41 at that point, and that day they announced that some of the things that we're talking about here. And so with people going back to stores and again the stronger US push and a finely tuned online presence, they should be well positioned for holiday sales coming up here.
All right, now shifting gears here a little bit, we've seen extreme volatility come back into energy markets over the past couple of weeks. This new variant now, not helping energy markets at all once again. So demand issues coming back into play here. What should we be looking at as far as, Canadian-based, specifically energy names?
So there's some expectations around the volatility. You got to price in what may occur, like you said, with the new variant, where OPEC stands on supply, how holiday travel will bifurcate based on people wanting to stay closer to home, again, with this new variant, or people wanting to say, forget it, I need to get out and travel, and energy demands there. So we've seen that recently on the expectations around oil pricing. There was an interesting deal yesterday. Cenovus, which owns the Husky gas stations here in Canada, agreed to sell all of their gas stations to two different groups. One is Parkland Group, PKI is the ticker, and they sold that for $156 million for 156 of their stores, and the other 181 stores they sold to Federated Co-op, which operates in central Canada, for $264 million. So Cenovus, which is CBE, and PKI were both in that deal yesterday. PKI, interestingly, is at its 52-week low here, around $33. So again, depending on how you view either how they integrate the Husky gas stations or how just you look at energy overall, that's something to look at. It's like there aren't too many energy companies that are at 52-week lows, given the volatility that we've seen in the energy space.
The other groups that is going to be affected by this, whether it be positive or negatively, remains to be seen. But holiday travel, obviously one of the busiest times, or the busiest time of the year for travel. As far as airlines specifically are concerned, what do we need to know here on this side of the border?
Yeah, again, just with what's happening going into this last month here, inflation numbers are soaring. Supply chain issues are supply chain issues. And then most importantly is this new variant with COVID. So you have to just bear in mind, do you believe that people will be traveling again, or people will travel less on the back of this? And we talked about, again, in Canada, there aren't many pickings here. So you've got Air Canada, and Air Canada, you either take one side or the other on this. You could probably apply the same to our friends in the US. Do you believe that people will continue to go out and travel because they've been pent up for so long? There have been pickups in vacation travel, and a little bit in business travel, but vacation travel for sure, and some cargo travel. So you've got those numbers going up. You got to put that against holiday demand. Now, will it subside a bit because of the new variant, or will it continue to rise? So Air Canada did dip fairly, a little bit here on the back of what's just come out with this new variant. And that also applies to other places like Cineplex, which is a movie company here in Canada. They took a big dip based on the fact that there's this new variant. So you got to bear those things in mind. And then the last segment that you may want to just keep an eye on here with the new variant is in the banking sector. Again, with high inflation numbers, what does that mean? Interest rates, are they going to move? And if interest rates do move up, all the banks would be in play to be incentivized with higher interest income. The other thing here in Canada is now the regulators on the banks have taken off the handcuffs on banks for share dividends and share buybacks. So all the big banks, but for one, I think BMO reports on Friday, but everybody else has come out with big dividend pickups and big share buybacks. So, National Bank took their dividend up 23% and is buying 7 million shares. Bank of Nova Scotia is doing a 24 million share buyback. I think TD announced this morning they're doing a 50 million share buyback. So you've got these banks that are just ripping right now on the fact that they're increasing their dividends and their share buybacks because they can. And, we're in an environment where banks may have a bit of an upper hand here. So we'll see how COVID affects the banking sector, but that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the entire group, we just saw TD's chart there. The entire group has been so strong all year long, quietly as well. Not a lot of attention being paid to it, but great look as far as some opportunities possibly to come within the next couple of weeks as we head, hard to say this, but into the end of the year, Raheem. Coming up in, not next week, but the week after, we're going to do a little bit of a look back at some of the names that we've talked about this year on this segment and kind of do, as you put it, I love the term naughty or nice list.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to look at it. We've told our friends here on the show a lot of different things over the last 52 weeks. So let's take a look back and see who gets a lump of coal and see who gets some kudos and how that affects your share price and on the back of what you're supposed to do versus what you did. So I think that'll be a fun look in 2 weeks in the studio.
Love the idea, love the concept. Not next week, again, the week after. We'll look back at what has been a pretty exciting year. Raheem Alani, Managing Director, OCI Group. It's always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Okay, take care.
Here we go, guys. Here's the other big headline this morning that we touched on briefly there this morning. Rumble, Canadian-based, Toronto-based at that, Rumble going public in a SPAC merger with, it's actually Cantor Fitzgerald SPAC. It's a $2.1 billion SPAC merger here, video platform Rumble.
And so I want to get this one out. I'll get this one out of the way because I always forget. We always forget to remind people. I'm not saying CFVI is going to go into a crazy halt fest. But if CFVI goes into a crazy halt fest, the warrants will still be open and available to trade. So that's CFVIW, which I always forget because last night when we were doing the close show, DWAC was halted. And of course, at that same time when we're sitting there staring at it in the halt, you could have gone over and looked at the warrants. You also could have been trading Funware, which made some moves as well. But CFVI, it's just, look, again, this is a momentum thing, right? Like Rumble, which I admittedly didn't even know much about or anything about, to be perfectly honest with you, gets the endorsement, and already you're going to get back to back with the DWAC news and then this coming through. It's a pure momentum play. I know DWAC just broke through support at 52, but this has found support at $12 off a series of higher lows. I did take that long. It's now putting a bit of a double top around this 1325 area, but I think if this breaks at the open, like 1350, I want to give it a chance to be able to run. I find often with these SPACs in general, forget about this one in particular, but a lot of times you find that support around 1150, or in some cases maybe a little bit higher, and if that holds off the open, you're pretty much primed for a run. Otherwise, you kind of are falling back in. I just feel the momentum here is going to be the story, and you almost can't get away from it. Like you're seeing on Twitter, everyone's like, it's DWAC part 2 and that type of thing. And when there's that kind of momentum, you have to expect it can be a bit of a play, especially at the open. Like I'd be prepared to look for a breakout long at the open or a dip buy that holds 1175 to 12 even, something along those lines. You're right at 12 to be able to, right at 930 to be able to put a trade on in CFVI. I think that's going to be a big mover today. I'd be somewhat cautious, like if the complete air falls out from under DWAC, which it's still up 16% on the gap, but if it just holds down or something, I would be aware of CFVI potentially getting a bit of maybe a sympathy fall. That hasn't really happened yet. It's been trending up with DWAC coming in. So far, that's a sign of strength.
Yeah, I think that we made the mistake on that DWAC day, not really trading that as aggressively, but we'll see if CFVI does have a thing to go here. We just put up our sticky note for all you guys. Please make sure you check that out. And then first of all, how does this taste? Leafs 8-3 last night.
Yeah,
Matthews with the Hattie. Okay. I mean, so anyone want to get banned from the chat again? Oh, you weren't here. I don't think you were here.
Banned?
Someone was trash talking the Leafs and I banned them on.
Well,
the chat,
I mean, you can't. Come on, man.
It was fun. It was fun. And I did want to say this. Last night we went to something called Sweaters and Snowflakes, and it's right. And I just messaged Brendan. It's right by his place. And check out these drinks, man. They had gingerbread whiskey sour, which is what I had. They had some bourbon, Neil, spiked. Let's go. Oh, come on, I'll show it to you right here. Right there. There it is. Bourbon spiked hot chocolate.
Yes. I had bourbon spiked eggnog, which is my new favorite.
Yeah. And unfortunately, mulled wine, I know you like. That's what Marissa had. And then here's us here with a little cameo. But it was a lot of fun last night. So I just mentioned to Brendan, it's right by where he is. So I think that's good. I had the gingerbread whiskey sour. And I asked people, maybe if you guys here, I can put this link up if you guys want to start a little bit of conversation. I mean, we could do it. I mean, let's not do it here, but on the chat. But some people said their favorite drinks. Look at this. Labatt Blue. I said, like, what are people's favorite holiday drinks? Labatt Blue. I'm surprised you don't get like, what's the other one? Molson. There was one Export. That was pretty gangster too. Bailey's Irish Cream with a shot of Jameson's. Nice Trader Joe. He's always in here. What's up to Florida? A Great Lakes Christmas Ale. Yep, support local. I like that. A few different things here. Old Chicago Tour. I don't know. There's all these different beers on here as well. Water, not bad. As well as vodka and cranberry juice. So neat whiskey.
Classic.
Yeah, lots of the classic with the neat whiskey as well. So, and a few more replies down there. But anyways, this is a trading show. I do like there. I still have that win. I do like that CFVI, especially if we do break above this 1350, which is about to happen right now. I'm punching my ticket long through 1350, guys.
All right, few analyst moves for you this morning. Specifically this one, kind of interesting. Wedbush still thinks Apple's worth 200. Even with this latest headline, you can see down more than 3% now. eBay, General Mills, Snowflake on a good report to the upside. C3AI, not so much. Yeah, Ford. I saw that Wolf Research price target cut for Ford. Beyond Spring was that one yesterday. Had a FDA ruling go against them. And then CrowdStrike off earnings as well.
Yeah, I mean, C3AI reported it wasn't all that bad. I mean, CrowdStrike as well. I mean, it could have been a heck of a lot worse. We'll get to some of those. I think the interesting, the upgrade in Snowflake. Snowflake just had a monster move in the aftermarket. And sometimes I feel like it's like a pressure valve was released on something, and I guess we're going to get to Snowflake because it's on the watch list, but like a pressure valve gets released when the stock 3 days in a row going into earnings does a pop and drop at 9:30, and then just absolutely cratered on the final and third day. So like it's one of those situations where if the numbers look good, it's just going to make it seem so much better, but you're really just trading back around where it was a couple of sessions ago, even though it's up like a 13 or 14%. The Apple upgrade, I mean, okay, like the thing about some of these analyst upgrades and downgrades, you got to pay attention at times to how often each of these analysts will make their move. Maybe they're just lagging a little bit there, but yeah, it's interesting timing, of course, the upgrade with the demand news that they just got there with Apple. We're going to be definitely watching Snowflake here today, and yeah, there's no getting away from some of these related names of CFVI. It's worth noting that DWAC just reclaimed that 52 level while Funware held its morning support, actually in the midst of holding its support in the morning at 380.
I'm just loading my shares right now. I mean, hopefully we can get that this punch through on CFVI. I mean, I think this is a good one here through 1350, and then if we get, I mean, I really want to be able to hold this until the close, but if I have to, I guess 12-ish would be my out here. There we go. So now we're in it. 12-ish would be my out or something, but we take a decent position here, and now we're going to see where it goes. So okay, so we're in it. I'm just going to let it settle down. I will take a little bit out as it pops through. DWAC, I was looking at 58. The reason why, I mean, it's on the list there for 58, and I guess I can zoom in just a little bit here. This is where it is. It's really 60, but 58 was the high today. So I think you got some areas of concern here around $60, $61. So let's see if we can punch our ticket through there. If you did want this trade, I mean, I wrote down here, let's look at a 58 shorting. I mean, I was talking about shorting it because the CFVI may distract people from DWAC. I don't know, but I was thinking about shorting it into this 58 area, and then we'll see where we go from there. But right now, DWAC starting to go to the downside, and then CFVI, we just punched that ticket as we said. So let's wait to see where we go on this one. As high as, we got to 14 there, did we? I don't know if we did or not, but I don't. Maybe we didn't. But anyways, we are now long CFVI. So early trade here. Let's see where we go.
All right, guys, let's jump into what else is moving around. Uh-oh.
What?
That's my fault, Lucas. I apologize. We were on the wrong camera there. Here we go. Let's try this one more time. There we go. That's better. The watch list, guys, absolutely free every single morning. We send it out before we come on at 8:30. This week brought to you by Manscaped. Lots of great holiday gift ideas. The QR code will be at the bottom. You can use that and get 20% off for the holidays from Manscaped. Thanks so much to Manscaped. Let's go to Apple. We touched on it briefly there if you joined us right at 8:30. Apple shares 3% to the downside. Wedbush still thinks it's worth $200 even with a slowdown in demand was the actual wording they use for iPhone 13. They've notified some of their component suppliers of this. So are you going to see some of them to the downside on this news as well?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. This is. We talked a little bit about this situation where, at the end of the day, if it's difficult to get, some people might wait out the cycle. And if Apple's saying it, you've just got to believe that there's going to be some truth to it. And it's almost like a double whammy here because like this was the number, this was the place, this was the stock that was holding the market up. So when you get something like this, and that's what I think is sort of scared us into slightly red territory on the NASDAQ. I know at least for now, I mean, the ES is still up 0.25%, obviously, but I think for now, you're starting to see a bit of a pull. Like there is a key level, this previous high here, and you kind of look at these closes down there at 157.30 or so. I think that down to 156 is where I think the support comes in on Apple if things got out of hand. I just can't see any way. It just doesn't feel remotely likely that we'd get there after we're just making a bit of a rebound to that 160 level. But I think there's going to be some sellers in Apple, given the way that it has performed, and you start thinking about profit taking in that name, there's people that are going to be looking at it. And if this continues this move up to like a 162, I could definitely see some sellers in there. By the way, CFE, it did now go to 14. I mean, it didn't go to 14.
Yeah, I got that out, actually.
Yeah, now it's actually gone to 14. So that's still booming, by the way, without DWAC. Like, DWAC's back below that.
Are you in it? I just was going to ask.
I'm still in it from earlier. Like, I didn't add to my position. I wanted to add at the open, but DWAC is still falling. But I mean, not falling. It's still at that bottom. Fund just broke support, so it looks like it's the CFVI party. It's the Rumble party. And, DWAC's up 16%. So, but they're sort of falling in the leeway. Might not be moving together today, which is worth noting.
So just a quick little update. Yeah, and I don't know if they will be moving today or not, but let's just have a quick look here. CFVI, we just took that out. So I just tweeted it. We didn't take it out at all. I mean, I took out 10% so far. check that, 20% so far on CFVI as we go, because we actually did get one of those ticks up here. My best out, 94 there. So we have an 88. So the first out we took was 70. The next out was 88. And then the next out there, I think it was it 94, 93? Doesn't matter, 93. So let's see where it goes. I have an offer at 14 and change. We'll just see if it can go up from here. But I like CFVI today. Now I can just hold this forever. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. I want to hold this for a bit. And I just think that if we can retest back here near 12, that would be an out. So 1170, 12, something like that to retest back. But the thing is, whether or not you like this name or not, a SPAC is a SPAC, so you got to watch out here for where this possibly could go. And here it comes right back in. So glad we took out a little bit here, so you know, limiting the damage if it does go back down. But let's just see where this opens. We still have 25 minutes here for CFVI. So out a little bit there. Put like I said, 20%. Put something in our pocket, and we'll see if we can grow the position in the account here. If we dip back down, we'll see about buying a little bit more. But again, I'd rather buy it at VWAP, like near this 13, and then see what we do near 12. So right now, CFVI starting to make a move back to the downside.
Yeah, all of these SPACs moving down at the moment. Foon and DWAC as well. Arun is here, back with us again this morning to have a look at the overall market. Interesting day yesterday, Arun. We're setting up to, go red basically any second here. What are you thinking?
It's hard to kind of come up with the bias starting the day. Obviously, you see how the market's reacting. You think you want to go in that direction, but this thing's all over the place. We had a 150-point range from the top to bottom yesterday on the futures. Today, it does look like it wants to go negative, but I'm really curious to see how we trade below 4,500. Now, we flashed below 4,500 right at the end there yesterday. Can we stay below there is the question, because first run would usually be stops, but I think the stops may have been taken out yesterday. So let's just see how this plays out today. If we get underneath and stay underneath, then I'd be more confident about the idea of playing on the short side. But if we were to say get underneath, flash underneath, take some stops, and then reverse back up, then you might see somewhat of a bounce. And that's the thing too. Well, you don't have that many levels. At least I don't have too many levels to work with here. The closest level I've got, apart from taking out the low here to the upside, the closest level I've got is 4620, which is 110 points away. So if we get above maybe 4570 or so, we start to fade out, or like if we start to slow down, maybe set up a short, you're going to have to start working into a short, building a position. It's going to have to be a wide risk. That's the kind of thing too. Typically, you have a certain risk profile, and then on situations where the market opens up, the range opens up, then you reduce your size and you actually open up your risk as well, just so you can actually participate. Because if you keep a tight risk profile on a day like today, you're not going to be able to get in. So you may have to, for me, I may have to work into somewhere close to 35 to maybe 50 points worth of risk before I can get a position. But that's going to be up at 45.70 and change, going up to 46.20, and that's also under the assumption that we're going to get a slowdown. Now, if we take the bottom out, I would be open to the idea of a short, like I mentioned, but we got to stay underneath there. And what the stop on that is going to be, it depends entirely on how we take this level out, or this area out. Now, we are hitting our day lows or even pre-market lows for now, but it depends on how we take it out. If we go right now, I'm not sure where the stop is, but if we can trade a little bit more before we go, then I think it may open up some new levels to work with. It may be sitting somewhere close to 45.20 or so. It all depends, right? It's not set just yet, so you may have to wait a little bit, but that's the area I'm looking at, 4,500 down below, and see how we trade underneath. We might get a complete reversal, or if we stay underneath, it might just take off.
Thanks, Arun. Going to be interesting, as we said. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. We mentioned DWAC there, Sean. You were looking at DWAC. There's also these other names that are moving around with Digital World Acquisition Corporation. If you missed it late in the day yesterday, Trump Media looking at possibly raising an additional $1 billion in a pipe deal that sent these things all to the upside. And I say these things, but mean PHUN. There's BENE and this Remark Holdings should all trade one and the same today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thought here. I mean, DWAC's already fading. Here on the sticky note today, we did talk about possibly fading this name, and that was the one, our number one idea on here. We're shorting in front of 60, maybe 58, right? That's past resistance, and then now today it's resistance as well. A long break, if we break it, right, it's gonna have a short leash on that. But at the same time, so that's just what I was saying. And then now you're coming back to the downside. So a lot of hype this morning. Obviously, we saw it halt yesterday on that pipe news like you were just mentioning, and looks like they're trying to raise $1 billion more, which, okay, that's never a good reason, never a good sign. I was very, very surprised on this bump up here yesterday. We couldn't really justify it when we were sitting here on the show, like why did it move up? And basically it halted, reopened, and then kind of chilled out a bit. I don't have it all the way to the close, but then we open up today here at 56, right at some of that old support. And I mean, the 20 minutes probably not going to do much on here other than show us that we were back up here on the 19th of November. We were back up to this 58 level. And, we had a few days here, 18th, 19th, and then the 22nd, where this 58 to 60 level was somewhat of a concern. And then you have here 60 as well. So this is the key level here that we were looking at breaking to the upside. That doesn't look like that's going to happen. So that's why we're like, what, if we can start to build something around 58, then that might be good. And you come in today, and that's really, we ticked as high as 57.43. So I've already paid for shorts on this name. I was hoping we'd get back up to these levels. I don't know if we're going to get there. I might as well put an offer because I have the shares somewhere around here, maybe now 55, 56, something like that to start. And then if we get 58, great. And then we'll address this when it gets to 60. But right now, I don't understand how when you have to raise more money, the stock goes up like this from 39. So to be honest with you, not trying to be like a Debbie Downer here or anything, but we may fall all the way back to somewhere in here, like back to mid. I mean, even if we get to $44, like in this environment, like what stock, other than Snowflake, we'll get to that in a minute, but what stock goes from 39 to 57 in this environment? I don't, let's see where it goes. But I'd be pretty happy, man, if I was an investor and I was watching the market the last couple of days just absolutely fall down and we just get like a nice little $4, $5, $6 bump from yesterday. So I think we settle around here 46, 47 maybe. And we'll see, though. If you want to take this up, I will be shorting this for a bit.
So I actually thought that fun would be an easier idea to short. It's the same thesis, but I thought fun might be the easier one to short, given the fact that it was even just a sympathy play and around the same types of levels. Previous resistance, lower high resistance was at 420. You can say 420, but 425 realistically up here in fun, and then 460 was the other level. Now this feels like Moderna Part 2. Moderna yesterday being the short that I missed out on, and then I forced myself into a long position. I didn't force myself. I made the mistake of sort of reading too much into the fact that I didn't want to chase the short and then decided to figure out a long trade that I can make in it, which was a bad decision on my part. I don't want to do that today. I'm not on the side of the first day on DWAC. I shorted it. I had 30 separate trades in the first day in DWAC and shorted it 27 times. I do not want that kind of a case, but I only want to be looking at the direction of the fade in fun. It's not like CFEI where this is a new sort of list and it's got some momentum behind it, and clearly it's the one that feels like it's going. But I'm going to be looking at fun and DWAC. I like the same levels that Sean talked about. The only difference, if it broke 60, 65 I think is a big one. But any kind of a pop, and now that we've broken 420 already to the downside, I got to start thinking about, okay, well, maybe it's 390 to 4 even if it can find a bit of a bid off of the open. It just feels like a fade. I think with fun, you can at least look at what's going on with DWAC, and then it should just follow instead of having to have the leader the entire time. So that's where I'm leaning. I didn't see BNE really doing too much. I know Remark was up a little bit, but these were the two that have my attention.
All right, let's keep going here. Boeing, guys, all of these charts kind of looking the same right now, along with the market coming back to the downside. We got up to 199 there for Boeing in the pre-market, back to 197 right now. China finally giving the 737 MAX their airworthiness certification once again. Since it's been grounded, there hasn't been any flown in China. So that seems to be the pop here for Boeing today.
Yeah. This is going to be pun intended, but I think there's a big runway here for Boeing, because if you see they get this downward move, it's about 10 10-15% in just over a week, a bit. You know, downside there down to 188, like what a disaster that was. And then they finally starting to get some of these orders that we've been talking about for 2 years. Like I was like, eventually China's going to come in, right, and start buying some planes. It's nice that they now clear the 737, so that's fantastic. And I think that's great news. I would rather be in Boeing than in, I mean, here's the daily chart. I would rather be in Boeing than any of the airlines right now. And I talked about why with gas prices, what they're doing right now, and then possible new threats coming through. I think they're starting to put on more travel bans this morning, I saw, for various countries. So, you know, I'd rather be in Boeing if it continues to fall down, but I think this is a good level right here. You can go all the way back, man, to January of this year, I guess. I was going to say last year, but this year, to get these 196 levels. Again, I mean, this is a good level. We bounced off this 190 up to 270, and I'm going to say the same thing that says it right on my sticky note that we talked about today. This is a perfect stock, a perfect stock. To Natalie, to Lucas, to everybody out here that's trying to build up a portfolio, to Trader Prad. What's up, Trader Prad? There he is. You know, this is a great name to start to build. Whether or not, you know, the bottom's $100 on this thing, right? That's when basically everybody thought Boeing was going to have to go bankrupt. You know, no one was going to order a plane. Yada yada yada. That's when, at that time, President Trump, now former President Trump, yeah, here we go again. You know, came in, and the government's going to be backing Boeing, right? I think it's a staple in the United States. So I don't want to say we're going to go all the way back down to 100 because we're not, but you know, you do have a little bit of protection down there. I like Boeing here. I think they get the order they needed. I like it. I think this is a name that's on the nibble list for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's got to be on the nibble list. I think GE also probably has to be on the nibble list. We know they're breaking things up, and then you're gonna, you know, well, breaking the company up, which we talked about, and actually getting punished for it. They're down at like $93 for the day trade. For the day trade on Boeing, I was sort of looking at this, and obviously yesterday was, you know, crazy day in the market. But you look up at this like 202 to 203 area. Like, I'd like to see us trade above this, right? Like, I'd like to see this, you know, trade above 202, 203, start breaking out again, or maybe at least potentially hold the previous support. Like, show me that this wick, or not wick, but it'll look like a wick on a higher time frame. This is just a 15-minute. But show me that bottom that got put in below this 94, which is a double bottom, and then a support level throughout the last week. And show me that can still hold. If you hold a level of support like this, I think that's going to be good for the day trade. Otherwise, I want to see it breaking back out above some of these highs, then we can fill in this gap here, which gives you $5 to $7. So I don't see a terribly clear day trade outside of, okay, if we fall and hold 194, that could be like a failed breakdown, re-enter the long type of idea, 94, 95, and then you've held this bid. So that would be one way to play. It's like the reverse of that short idea, but short the pop idea. But until we break past this 0203, I'm going to be sitting out, you know, maybe like an opening high breakout or a 200 breakout. I'm going to be sitting out that kind of a trade on Boeing. I'd much rather it fail to break through that 194 level and then try to go long on the way back upside. But I don't want to catch the falling sword. I need to see it bounce first.
All right, Square jumping on the let's change our name bandwagon, going from Square to Block for their corporate name. The ticker stays the same. The product, payment product, stays the same under the Square title. Not much of a reaction here, though, for Square. What a move this thing's had all the way back to support we saw back in the early summer for Square.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just, first of all, I will talk about Square in a minute. I just want to go back to the CFVI quickly because it did make that dump down in. I was bidding 1302, like stupid, but anyways, didn't fill me. Would have been nice to do that. Now you're going back up to the upside. So just noticing the net starting to go back up here because we were negative there for a bit and now we're back up to positive. So watch out for CFVI again failing at the same level, man. 1380, a fail at 1380 on CFVI. So just for those of you that are paying attention, if you're long from down here or something like that and you have a decent position, that's 4 times or so here, like one there, again there, and again there, that 3 times, I guess, that we failed at that 1380. I still think it's going higher, but just want to bring that to everyone's attention in case you are not looking at it. CFVI fails. Okay, so on to kind of like a real stock here. Let's go over to Square now. Not that CFVI is not a real stock, but I mean, it didn't even exist yesterday. So here goes Square. All right. again, I don't have much to say about this other than it's going to be the same rhetoric over and over and over again. I think Jack Dorsey stepping away from Twitter is a blessing in disguise for Square. Jack Dorsey is a fan of crypto. He's much more capable, in my opinion, anyways, from what I've read. Obviously, I don't know the dude personally. Wish I did. But, you know, he's much more, you know, ready to go and focused on Square than Twitter. So now we got the right mind working with the right business here. Right away changes the name to Block, and again, we have it in our note, right? It's for blockchain. It's for the payment side of things. And then what else did we say that it was for? Music, yeah. Music. Okay, I don't know what Block is to do with music, but anyways, into that. So I think that you're at these sweet, sweet levels right now. I wrote down, man, this 190 long, if we can get back into there. This is a level that we've been looking at for a while on that daily chart. I think we can dip down in. Nothing wrong with having a few little bids down here near 190. See if you get picked up. I like Square here, but we've seen PayPal, we've seen Square just absolutely get killed. I think both of them are pretty much down almost the exact same. PayPal right now at 180 from a high of 300. This is at 190 from a high of 290. So Square a little bit better than PayPal, but I still like what's behind both of these names. And you want to get a company for the future. I mean, you pick your poison, but I think one of these should be in your portfolio.
I prefer Square personally, but I think at this point, like the argument for PayPal is just how far it's come down, and I guess looking at where it could bounce back to. I think the name change makes a lot of sense. Certainly, you talk about you want to focus on the company to where they're going in the future, and not just one short-sighted aspect of it, which is obviously important. I'm glad that they're making the symbol change, or sorry, not making the symbol change as well, keeping it simple. Meta should probably do the same thing, but they can do whatever they want. Whatever. Meta's Meta, Facebook's Facebook. If we get down, if we actually do trade lower today, it's got a level of support at 188, 190, which you don't want to necessarily see breached there. If it can hold that, I think Square has a bit of a run in it, but the Apple thing, just kind of dragging everything down and breaking these lows. So I'm not as optimistic as I was. If we had held this low, and again, a lot of times I want to see a low held before looking at a breakout. I had written down that I wanted to take a break at 196. The second it breaches that low, that trade becomes off for me. And we've actually traveled down a couple of bucks since then. So, I'm not going to be taking a breakout in Square. And not even that this name change, I think, would have been the catalyst, but, the overall reversal in the market has me leaning against that breakout. Would rather be catching a bottom on consolidation. Ms. V has a little something for us.
Hey Neil, we've got a super chat from Links0134. Not trying to bring anyone down, but do you think because of yesterday, today's going to be another down day overall? Do you guys think it's going to be another negative day today or positive?
So thank you. Yeah, we're going to try to get Ms. V on the screen a little more, asking these questions even now, right? I mean, thank you for the super chats, guys. Join Ms. V and Trader Prad live every single day. You can get a look at her much more than you can get a look at us with Trader Prad. So a handsome gentleman. And I mean, I'm allowed to say, Ms. V's over there. Everyone knows their opinion with that. So let's just go to the downside here and talk about the market. So, I think that yesterday, whatever you think about the market here, I still think I go with the 3-day rule here. Come on, Spiders. Let's load this up as CVI right now testing 14 again, Neil. CFVI. So I'm just noticing my net is fluctuating here, going up and down. Okay, I could say something bad there, but we're not going to. We just crossed the 50 period right now on the SPY. I said we'd be down 3 or 4% on some of this news. It looks like Omicron took us down about 5. So I think that we're getting a little bit oversold here. But at the same time, to answer your question more specifically, I think it's another down day today. I think that we need to settle down just a little bit more here. The SPY is not really going to give you much information. You're not going to look at a chart. It's not going to tell you if we're going up or down. I just feel like the market seems a little bit heavy. And you know why, guys? I mean, let's just put it, let's call it like it is right now. If Apple starts getting accelerated to the downside, this market has zero chance of being positive. Zero chance, because Apple, and it's already down 3%, already weighing on the NASDAQ. There are a lot of names that are up today. Apple comes with a little bit of a heater today, talking about supply chain and some of these companies warning that possibly lower sales, so on and so forth. So for me, I'm going to go with red on the day, which is a change for me because I'm always pretty bullish. But again, I don't expect to see a wave of selling. I think it'll be specific to some names, and we may just go sideways. So we're down a quarter of a point right now. For me, I think we settle down. But like yesterday, Neil, I think the last hour, things like that is what's really going to tell, because we were up, 300 or 400 points yesterday at the open, and we thought it was rebound Tuesday or Wednesday. And now is today now turnaround Thursday? I think there's more selling to go, and I think we might get a bump at the end of the day, which may turn us green, but let's wait to see.
I think if something's going to be up today, it's going to be the Dow. If you had to pick and choose, I'm just going to pull up VXX here because it's just what I happen to have. So I'm going to pull a chart over instead of pulling up something new, just to show when volatility implied coming back up on the rise a little bit today. I think that's, and like Sean said, unless you're holding major support on Apple, it's hard to imagine that the market's going to hold up pretty well. So I'd lean towards the red camp, although I think the Dow could perform okay today overall. Ultimately, I think for the most of our focus, we're going to be talking about some of the big name stocks. I think there are a few, there's a handful of names that were, I guess those high valuation or no revenue, low revenue, whatever you want to call them stocks, that could find a bit of an upswing today, right? Just because it could be a red day for the market, something it's a crazy thing to say, because I don't think anything's done worse than Robinhood, but their their lockup expired yesterday, right? All-time lows. Holding a double bottom, kind of like what I was hoping Square would do, holding a double bottom here on Robinhood. If it can't take this out at the open, there's a stock that could get a bit of a push to the upside, and maybe it does, put in a nice little day. Wouldn't have to do much. This could be up 5-6%, and it's back to $25. It's actually a pretty solid move there. So, individual names that have been depressed, I think have a better chance in the overall market, because when you're talking about the indexes, it doesn't matter what happens in Robinhood. When you had the NASDAQ 100 pull back 4%, a third of those stocks were down 20% or more in the NASDAQ 100. So ultimately, the market is just the big name. So it's hard to do anything without Apple. So I think there's definitely individual names that have been beaten up that can turn green today. That just might not pull up the NASDAQ and the ES, unfortunately.
Let's go to a couple of earnings names here. We talked about at the end of the show, if you joined us yesterday, CrowdStrike and Snowflake. Decent reports right across the board. Some forecast increases as well for CRWD and Snowflake. CRWD a little bit weaker, though, it would appear.
Oh, we're going on a couple of rants here. I didn't even realize it was 9:25. So shout out to everybody. Thank you for all your patience here. I'm already done one coffee. I'm on to the Yeti right now. Shout out to there it is, the Yeti, and to Mr. Cheese. What camera is it? And Mr. Cheese, and then a big shout out to Jeff Mendel from OTCX, because these things are expensive. Thank you for sending those, Jeff. And I wonder what our Christmas presents are going to be this year. Wink, wink. I don't even know if there's anything coming, but let's see. I'm going to send them this clip now. Okay, so anyways, Snowflake today. I cannot believe this, because I look over the numbers, and I feel like it's very, very similar to what I saw with Palantir and some of the data there. You're up a little bit. I'm nervous just because of how high we're up. This is a high-flying name. I love Snowflake. I am long Snowflake still. We didn't get anything out up top now. I was waiting to see what today was going to bring, and just thank God we're not down here. Again, we're long at 240. We talked about that break, taking it right into here. We got it too late. We were looking at it. We first started talking about Snowflake when we pulled all the way back in. And this is one of those names, right? It's very nerve-wracking. It didn't open at 23. It's very nerve-wracking because, when it crushes back down below its IPO price of 221, it hits this 180 and now pops up to 400. This is a very, very busy stock lately. Nice work done. A little bit of a bounce back, then getting hit now. And now today you're back up to 350. So, I really, really like this name. I think Snowflake can continue to work. Upside, a lot of positive data there. New customers, beats all over the board. You're not going to get this up 12% for no reason. So I think right here, Snowflake's going to be a buy. But honestly, this thing was at $300 yesterday. So I don't want to buy it at 350. I'll tell you that much right now. I will be exiting my position. I do have a stop order in on my own account if we do crack below, and I put it in already, this 330 mark. So I just don't want, I'm so happy with the bounce back here today. And I think this is a name that now you could probably raise a little bit of capital. This is what I'm saying. if you're into Snowflake, you can get some out now if you're nervous about this name, celebrate that 12%, and then if you think the market's going to dip a little bit more, you may be able to buy this back in. I mean, that 308, forget about that. I just said it was down there yesterday, but that's probably not going to hit again. So, you can buy some more somewhere back in here. I just think this is a name that you can trim if you're long, and congratulations. It's been a monster report there.
Yeah, I mean, for the day trade, I'm looking pop and fade, pop and fade, pop and fade 3 days in a row right at 9:30, and then you get a monstrous gap up with the market putting in a little bit of a reversal here today. And it's still a high valuation name, right? We're still talking about losses, trimming losses and smaller losses, but ultimately it's still the same story. So if it's a pop and fade play, I was looking at 360. Clearly, it broke that 350 area, so I tightened it up to 50 to 55. That fails at 930. I think it's prime for a rollover. I don't think you want to hold it past the 360 level. That's a bit crazy, but certainly the trend in 3 days in a row and then a huge gap up. I still think there could be some sellers in there. Brendan?
One more to go here, guys. This one popped up a little bit later in the pre-market here. OMER selling one of their drug divisions or franchises. Pharmaceutical company. If you go to the daily chart, this last high on the daily chart pivot was 860. So 860 is it. If you're involved in this one, if it starts trading above that, you're wrong. If you're short, this doesn't have anything above that until at least 1150 or 12 for OMER. So interesting look here on decent volume, guys.
All right, so we just got out a little bit more, so we'll go hot dog firing them off here on, that's still Snowflake chart. Like, my charts are doing this already. We just came back up to 1380 again, so we're gonna ring a little bit out there again. So we're out of like 23 or 4% right now. Next target above 14. Let's see this guy run high here. I might not even get out. I'm not even gonna get out. I'm gonna cancel my offer. I don't even care. Actually, we'll wait. Well, it's a small piece, so we'll see if we get some out at 1420 there. 1420 to the upside, and we only have a half hour. I was half a minute left as we get ready for the open. DWAC still going to be on watch. I expect to get into some Square. Quickly here, AMD, I just got into something there. I just got into Square. Okay, so we just got into Square on a dip buy down near 190. AMD today, we said we're going to stop buying some of these dips, but you're down to 146. Let's see what the NASDAQ does. New position alert. There goes CFVI, just broke 14. Square right now into an early position. So, 190.50. Let's see where we go on Square with only 15 left.
Yeah, two things. ABUS, big level 540 for me. Going to drop the countdown. Miss V's on the bell in the North Carolina Blue, watching DWAC for a fade. Pop and fade play off the highs. There it comes. 5, 4, 3. Let's get it on Tuesday. That'd be nice. 1, ring it.
All right, here we go. We just got out some more of the CFVI. We just got printed at 1420. Like we said, 1418 there. CFVI starting to go. Bang! What a nice win right there as we go. Boom! On Square. A nice little $1.80 on Square as well. So CFVI, Palantir, everything rocking and rolling. Square, we're up $1. CFVI, we're up 25 cents, and we're just into Palantir, guys.
Yeah, and there goes a rollover on DWAC. So it doesn't even pop for us. It just goes right down to like $1 or so. I'm holding on to my CFVI for about $14.50, but you don't want this to start following DWAC too crazily there. It looks like there's no move in that ABUS. I quickly rattled off a level, which was 540. This is now breaking down as well. So if this pops, I want to fade it the same way as the others. 540 monster level on ABUS. Snowflake, no pop for the fade. It just only fades as usual.
No pops, no drops. There goes CFVI. Let's go. Let's get heated, baby. Good stock for me here today is this one. So we'll watch to see where it wants to go. Also, Square now $1.50, $2 now in the money on SQ. Man, we're rocking and rolling, cooking with gas, as we like to say around here. Another piece out at 14 on CFVI right there. Palantir, man, look at this. In, out right there. We still have a piece of this, obviously. We're not going to dump it this fast, but Square, or Palantir, sorry, not Square, starting to head to the downside. We do have another bid at 11, so that should fill very, very soon. I hope it does anyways. Now that, there we go, now that we're down here, we're going to get out on, if it breaks through 19, 18 something, we're going to get out, but we're not going to hold this one, obviously, all the way down either. So right now, Palantir in a little bit of trouble here as we're approaching 19, guys.
Yeah, and this fund looks like it's heading downside a little bit faster than DWAC. It just broke, oh, come on, it doesn't want to, it just broke its recent low, that 360 level, if it'll ever even load up, and is trying to hold valiantly. I'm going to start tracking it down a little bit further. I was going to go 4 to 420. Now I'm looking at the $3.80 to $4 range for a bit of a pop and fade. Looks like Snowflake is trying to make a move back upside here. I was looking at 350, 360 or so. Looks like we're going to get our chance. It fell all the way down to 340. and then pop right up. Spread. Watch out for the spread in Snowflake. I just saw
Yeah.
$4 spread a couple of seconds ago on Snowflake. So you don't want to pay that spread. You want to let it come to you if you can.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good one there. On that Palantir, so we are there. He goes, now we're really, really smoking here on this one. Let's see how far we can go now. That CFIVW warrant's starting to go as well. 45 cents now in the money, back up to 14. We took out some 14.20s and some 14s. Those are our best spots to go on that one. Square looks like it may test lower here. We did get out. We should have got some more out at 192.50. Those, some of the pre-market levels were all the way up here. So if we're going to be wrong on this, honestly, okay, here it goes. It's just continuing to go. Okay. I do want to hold this one. I do have to do a little bit more work to figure out what's happening.
DWAC's cratering.
DWAC's cratering. So CFVI right now. Yeah, there goes CFVI as well. Just cratered as well. So some of these positions started to turn around, but not Palantir. Back to new highs here for PLTR.
Yeah, I mean, DWAC just broke 50, so it looks like that's going to head. You know what? I wanted to fade on the stock. You're just not going to be able to get it. I'm seeing Funware. I can still catch a break of 60, 360 that is in Funware. I'm trying to get the position. Oh, of course, DWAC didn't even load for you guys, so you didn't see that. That's my bad. But it broke that 50 level to the downside. I was able to just get PHUN when this happened, so you're going to see it's still at that 360, so I was able to grab Funware. I want to be adding to this position as DWAC falls. Funware I thought was going to be one that could lag for you there, so if I have an opportunity to maybe catch this while DWAC goes down, bit of a lagger instead of trying to get the one that's front running.
Yeah, we're going to try to go with, some Square here. We just went long again on this name, and we'll see where it goes. Palantir just rocking right now, man. Good pickup on this one. Another contract today for Palantir. Obviously, we said right on our sticky note that we would defend 19, and I think we did that superbly right now, as we just got some more out here on the high side. I'm just going to keep on maybe just getting some of these out. 36, 37, 38. There it is, man. Ring the register on Palantir. Very, very big positive day for us. As we average into Square as well. Boom. Let's get another piece out of Square. Big movement up here. Square. NASDAQ starting to go as well. This is a big day for me, a big day. What's up, Brendan?
Express, guys, another one that does get a lot of attention on social media because of a high short interest. They reported better than expected results. Big volume at the open there for EXPR.
So I just caught a reload on that CFVI now. I only bought at 13. I was buying at $12, $12.15 before, and then I got the little bit of a dip there at that 13 level. I'm still offering $14.50. Nice little consolidation. It never broke that 12 even low that it's already been put in. So this looks pretty solid for a bit of a bounce play. Fun now through 350. So look, obviously, DWAC, if you had DWAC, that's a great short. I just felt like there was always going to be a chance that Fun would follow suit. So I'm just grabbing on the bid to be able to take some out there and ring the Reggie. Thank you, Miss V. We're going to need the coffee today. Ring the Reggie on a little bit of that short trade. Snowflake bouncing back and forth. They got a 49 short, but that spread $2, $3 at a time. You can't be punching out when it goes only 2, 3 against you. Watch out if DWAC retakes that 50 level. I want to see if we can hold 360. 360, of course, the big resistance level that was support on PHUN that we're playing off of. And then one more for you, that ABUS, which a couple people were asking about. It does make a push. It tried to go up to like 520 or so. I wanted that at 540 for a fade. Doesn't quite get there, so you're not going to see me in the short. Bit of a missed opportunity for me there.
All right, we'll just offer some more out here on Palantir. What a big trade this has been for us. So we're really happy with the way this one's piecing out, but we're definitely not happy with CFVI. I thought I had an offer to get out of this thing. Oh yeah, we were going to wait for 12 to break. So this is just coming right back to the downside. We're giving up pretty much everything here on CFVI. Let's just wait to see where we go with it, though. But right now it is to the downside. I was waiting for this 12 to break. Looks more and more likely that is what's going to happen. So thank God we have these other bangers for you right here, including Square. We're long at 189. We've just been taking this out 191.50. Look at the NASDAQ starting to pop, man. So yeah, let's go. Palantir, 35 cents in the money. Square. Bang, right there. Spin the money. Let's go, baby.
Money,
this is $3 now in the money.
money,
Square,
money,
saving the day
money,
for me.
money.
Square, Palantir. I mean, we only in 3 positions. Square, Palantir, and CFVI. So there we go, man. Yes, sir. We talked about shorting DWAC. That's going to be gone. We talked about taking a 78 break and win. Let's go check out if that's still alive or not. Because, again, we're just looking too many things. Okay, so here it comes. 78 break on win. I like that trade. Maybe we take that. Maybe we don't. Right now, I don't know. I'm already hella long right now. $4 in the money on Square. RBLX. We like the 116 break on Roblox. Ah, damn, we missed that one as well. 116 break on Roblox would have been hot fire. Give it to him, Brendan.
DD, guys, big mover yesterday, if you remember. Another 8.5% here for DD Global on more moves from China for DD, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about DD yesterday being an obvious short. There was an obvious short in DD yesterday. I'm not going to fight that one. Yesterday was just the market crashing. DD was at the highs. Boeing broke that 194. Remember, we didn't want to catch a falling sword, so it broke 194, found a bottom. Now it's trying to reclaim that level. If it can get back above 195, that was a snap to the upside long that I was looking for. Funware is right at that 360 as DWAC reclaims $50. So watch out for your shorts on those names. We're still in the pocket in Snowflake, so it's just holding right around 49.50 this entire time. But I'm looking at Boeing through 195. If it can hold a bid there, we'll let to grab that bit of a long. The market's trying to make a nice little bounce back, and we wanted to make sure Boeing was holding that low before we got in.
We're trying to get out of Square. We're trying to get out of Square right now a little bit, man. This is a $6 winner right there for Square. We hit the banger for you. We take that nice win for me on that one, man. Square, wow. Look at this. Look at this buy. I mean, top wick, bottom wick, a bunch of bottom wickens right there for that one. So good. Thank God that came through for me. That was a good trade, man. All the way upside, boom. And then look at Palantir, like hold my beer, says PLTR right now. Let's put that graphic up. I like that one. There it is. So we'll put this up. And this is shout out to Lucas and to Rob there making a cameo. Always nice to see you guys on camera. So there it is. Hold our beer, says Palantir right now. And we got to get out of this. So we'll do some more selling right now. We're out of the majority of these shares. We still have a third left, actually, not the majority. There it is. There we just took some more out. Now we have 20% left of this position as we get some more out at 58. So Palantir, what a rip upside on that name. Good out for us. And then we're just trying to see what's happening with CFEI. Unfortunately,
another mover, AMC.
AMC right now. Go ahead, Neil.
I was just going to say, AMC, thank you guys in the chat for pointing this one out. Monster fall yesterday. You saw the capitulation at the end of the day if you were watching it. Same thing happening back into the upside. So the 200 period has already been held. I already looked at that one yesterday. The 200 period was sitting around that $30 range. That's where we tried to trade it before. You're trying to get back to this level. This is 31.40 or so, exactly where I first dipped into it. And this is a monster level here that has to get taken out in AMC if you want to have any kind of continuation. So I expect to pull back. If it comes back into what was the pre-market high, that's $30. I think that's where your dip buy is going to have to be if you want to be patient with this. We're starting to come back in on CFVI as well. So as we watch both these names, it's entirely possible. Like, you always watch out when the broad market tries to come back, or some names that people want to get money into. When they start to come back, the hot kid on the block, or the new kid on the block, which is CFVI, can fall under pressure. So 12 was the price we liked. I've dipped once at 13. My average price still $12.65. You don't want this breaking through that $12 level. That's a key one. $11.75 is also support. I'm now in the money on Snowflake, but I'm not getting anything out till we get at least $3 on the first leg.
Oh man, guys, remember we talked about buying Win through 78? Well, I mean, how good was that? That's at $79 right now, Win. So, oh man, that was a great break and we didn't take it, damn it. But we're in it now, so we'll see if Win can continue to work. Hopefully more to the upside here, because I'm going to buy it back down into 78. Just to give you guys an idea, I mean, this thing could fall. Oops, that's Win right there. This thing could fall back down, but we will take a bid here and try to average in. My out's going to be 77.50, so I'm not going to let this go too much past these levels right down here. So if we can get more into Win, we will do that. Good name though today, Win, continuing to work, it looks like. So that's going to be a good one. Damn it, just wish we didn't miss that 78 break there, just like we talked about it on our sticky note again. And please, guys, find me on Twitter at TraderTVSean. You can check out the sticky note. Gets over 100 likes and retweets every single day. And we had Roblox long at 116 on that list as well. We had Square long at 190 on that list. There it is right there. I'm long 189.60. It dipped down below, gave us that. We talked about defending Palantir all on that list as well. So yeah, let's get ready to rock and roll, man. TDOC is up. AMC is motoring right now. We're going to get over on that one as well. Yeah, but CFVI right now, I'm dug in and I just, we're at the lows here. This is going to be a bad trade.
Yeah, watch out for that 12, like I said. But I just rang the Reggie on Snowflake at least a little bit at that 45 level. It rolled over here right at 50, which we grabbed the short at that 49. I want to get the rest on that 340 level, see if we can't pull back into this. I know BFRI, so obviously a few stocks, well, the only stock I looked at the whole thing, a few moving around here. BFRI on an upside halt, looks like just a pure volatility halt. Should be open up in a few seconds, unless it's, I guess it might be a 10-minute halt because it didn't just open up up right now. So we'll have a look back on that one in a few seconds there. PHUN reloaded because DWAC retook the low of the day, and of course I go to flip and it doesn't flip. DWAC retakes the low. We short the same prices on PHUN. This is the one for me. I said just allow DWAC to fall, and you don't have to pick it. You can just jump into the other name here, which is Funware, and that fade working out pretty well, just covering some in front of 350 once again. Brendan.
BFRI, guys, remember that was one of those teeny tiny little floats. Stocks 3.6 million on the float for that one. There was also a new patent announced there, about 920 or so for BFRI.
New patent, you say?
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're down with new patents, of course. All right, I don't really know what's happening here with CFVI, guys. We took a little bit out there at 50. Obviously, we're long at 13.10 here. It's not doing anything really at these levels except for trying to push lower. So I do have some offers up here near 13. So just so you guys know, we will be getting it out if it does come back up to 13, if we're lucky enough to do that and save ourselves some serious coin on that move. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not as we go. So that's just in on that. Win now, $1 in the money. Let's go on Square, man. We talked about that. Let's just go Superman, because we got Miss V there as well on that, as there it goes, man. 79 and change for Win. We talked about buying that at 78 break. We missed it, but we paid 85 cents higher. Still nicely in the money, $1 as the NASDAQ starting to go. And this is why I talked about that on the sticky note, man. Today was a good day to start getting in there and start nibbling. We talked about that, and I hope some of you did that, because if you'd bought anything off open, I think anything right now besides CFDI, you would be cruising.
Or Snowflake.
Now, yeah, or so, yeah. I mean, non-earnings calls,
yeah.
Like things that don't have news on it that we were thinking about, like a Teladoc, like a Win, like a PayPal, like a Roblox back to 120, baby. Even Peloton, Brendan, up 7%.
Like DraftKings as well,
Yes.
having a nice day here. 2.3%, 31 up to 32 in a straight line for DKNG.
At that level again, Neil, we talked about this at $32. If you pull down a daily chart, this is where we were going to start to buy. I don't have much powder left. I was just checking. I'm in 10% cash right now, and I was debating here to take, and I haven't deposited any. This is just from my own account from selling. I've been selling Ford. You guys know that about the $20. We sold some AMD up there as well. I mean, I've been telling you guys all this. But here's DraftKings right back into 32. I still think it's too early to buy this name, but DraftKings always a mover and a shaker. So watch out here. You know what? Instead of buying all these names, I may at some point just get into ARK, the innovation, because they have a lot of these names as it is. And instead of me spreading it out around everything, if I just sort of buy the ETF, then yeah, I've been talking a lot. What's up, Neil?
No, it's like I said, well, like you just said there, it allows you to not have to pick and choose if you like just an entire group, and it happens to be, I guess, picked up in a particular ETF, then you can always do that. I wanted a specific thing to happen in Boeing. I thought I had a stop in there to get that 195 when it retook the bottom and then broke back out. I didn't actually get the fill because my stop wasn't in, but it comes right back into 195. Want to give it to the bottom here and then see if we can break back up towards the upside. That CFVI has now taken that 12 level, so 1175 is the low of the day. I'm going to take the hit on it. It was a great long to begin with, but when one of these things, when the market starts chewing back in here and I guess the higher quality names or the better known names is a better way to think about it, when they start coming back up, a lot of times you get the fade. So that's making the fun short good. It's making the CFVI long no good. 1175 breaks. I am out of this. I just want to walk away having taken some of the early profit, although I will give it back because I reloaded on this thing above 13. I guess I should have waited for that 12.15 price that we had originally. Snowflake starting to look pretty good, but when the market is looking strong, I don't want to fight this one too far. All I wanted was that pop and fade trade. It's now resisted the low of the day here at 340. So I want to sit in front of it if I can, see if I can't just take the profit on this trade. If I only get 7 or 8 instead of $10 to $12, that's perfectly fine. The market looking like it wants to put a rebound day, which I don't want to bet too heavily against unless it's in Fun or DWAC. Brendo? Oh, Valeria, sorry.
Hey Neil, Progenity is up around 6%. Do you guys see any opportunities for yourself in prog today?
Well, it went from, oh my goodness, I don't have a Miss V key. Sorry, I'll hit this one.
I lost my.
Usually it's Brendan giving me the fill when he comes on, but Ms. V pipes up and I get the fill on Snowflake, so I'll ring the register there, and we can go to Progenity, as I still think we're waiting on the BFRI reopen. Brendan brought you the news there. There's the reload. Progenity just turned at $3, so I kind of like the timing. It's always about the timing when it comes to these. But this has already been falling back and cut exactly. Reason I say 3. Let's slow down, Neil. The reason I say 3 is it had a big turnaround on the daily at $6. This is $6. I know because I was in that long when it broke $6. So all the way halfway back to 3 even. That was previous support there at 3. It's trying to break through this level. So you want to see a healthy pullback, which is exactly what you're getting here. And then it's geared up for a potential break at 3. But it's just symmetry right there. It's like $6 to $3 support. You want to make sure you're breaking back above that 3 level. I think it's resistance, and probably a lot of short sellers would be jumping in front of it. I actually would be thinking about it if I saw some size there at 3. But you want a 3 break, or you want to buy a dip probably at like 65 to 75 on that name, because 3 is a big level. Brendo?
Seeing a ton of daily charts looking very, very similar, like this. Nikola, guys, kind of bouncing along recent lows here for NKLA once again. There was this headline on Nikola this morning, Trevor Milton to be deemed beneficial owner of about 22.1% of outstanding shares of Nikola. So up 3% for Nikola today.
He's the beneficial owner of that many shares? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this guy is still like a billionaire after all this. Okay, so Peloton, I mean, this is up 7%. Why? I don't know. It shouldn't be in my opinion. So we're going to hit this down here. 44.70 on Peloton. We are going to get, oops, I'm on the wrong, I was on Palantir there. Peloton, we're going to get into that name if it breaks out that 44.70 down to the downside. But here's Palantir that I wanted to talk about. And I just took another piece out. I don't know what this is going to do. But, you know, I think it's worth it at this level just to start to empty some out here. It's been a big move up, man. We defended that 19 level. We're pretty much now flat on Palantir. We have 10% left, 10% left of our position on Palantir. So although we'll celebrate if and when it goes back to the upside, we are flat on, well, not flat. We still have some, but it's only 10% of the position. So that's good, man. CFVI, we've been getting some out of that one. It's not doing anything. We're long at 12.40 now, but it's not, it's dead in the water. Win right now up to 80 cents, up to $80 is a nice $1.20 in the money for us here on Win. This is something that maybe we should take next time it pops upside. But I like this name. I like the rebound. I like the story on Win. We talked about nibbling into some of these names. I hope you did. What's up, Brendo?
Just had another alert there on AI, guys. So earnings, downgrades, AI, downside, big time. Just made a day low there. Huge volume came in, though, as it broke 2 day lows on the buy side for C3 AI.
Yeah, that was the other one. I mean, Snowflake got me out, but it actually managed to hold 340, so it was probably a good out. AMC did pull back in, not quite to 30.11. So if you were super aggressive there, congratulations. I mean, yeah, I guess I could have been a little more aggressive trying to catch that dip buy. We did like that one a little bit. And obviously, part of yesterday's flush is a little bit of that story, I think, how hard it fell and made a wick bottom there, and then potentially breaking out with the market coming back in. I am in Boeing. That's starting to go. If I like it in front of like 200 or so, I look at this cluster here at 196 to 197.5, and then have to take some profit in front of it. So if I can get some out, 196.50, that'll be the first leg if we can take it. The NASDAQ is approaching 16,000. That's a big level, while the ES is kind of getting through its morning support at 45.5. So those get taken out, and then a lot of things are going to start running to the upside. C3 AI, however, like that's one of those, the 3-day rule, you might want to hold on for dear life when it comes to, come on, load up. You might want to hold on for dear life when it comes to to a name like this, because there's no support. Like, that's breaking all-time lows post earnings. Don't catch that falling sword, right? Like, I can't think of a good reason why I'd be trying to pick a bottom here. I know 30 is sitting there, but I'm looking at the bid. That was like 4,000 shares on the bid when it's done 2.5 million. So I wouldn't be touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Okay, just an update here. We are going to get out of Square if it breaks back down below 193. So that's very, very close right now to that happening. So we'll watch out to see if and exactly that is what happens. But we're looking at Square breaking that 193. We're going to be out of that if that does happen, man. I mean, I'm going to put this 350 in my pocket and just run away as the NASDAQ right now just bouncing. So I don't even know. Did it even break there? I mean, what the hell just happened right there? I don't know. Anyways, we got out there of Square at 193.03, it looks like. So there must have been, ooh, no, I got a dirty print there.
CFVI broke.
Oh, did it break to the downside? Okay, so there we go. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet on CFVI, breaking that day's bottom there. We just lost a hell of a lot of money on that trade. So, but we'll move on from that. One loser today, it's going to be a big one, because I really thought that had a chance, man. We saw what DWAC did. I thought this one had a chance. Maybe we can try again at 12. We danced around 12, but ultimately we took some profits there. I told you we were out about like 25%, but it's the rest. It's the 75% that kills you there on the downside. So I'm looking at a 12 break. If it it breaks 12 again and gets going, then I'll take a little bit more shares and see if we can make it back. But I'm going to hold off right now on our friend CFVI until we get back to 12. Win still rocking, rolling Palantir. And new position alert, Brendan. We're into AMC. So let me know if there's any specific news on AMC. But we're just going to try to play the momentum up 7% here. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, a lot of stocks bouncing big time, including AMC that we saw a big move down yesterday. This one as well. CRM, guys, big move down late in the day yesterday. Back to the upside here, 3% for Salesforce.
That's look, man. That's another one.
That's another buy, right? Was that at 250 yesterday?
And you know what? Like, and I said pie in my face when one of the things that I said in the chat when I came in was I absolutely bungled CRM. And it's not that like it was a bad trade for me. I thankfully didn't lose everything on the day trying to cash the long on CRM. But CRM, believe it or not, it was a shareholder of Robinhood whose expiry was yesterday. Their lockup expiry was yesterday. Why won't this load, the daily chart? But that 250 level, sometimes you just want to let it wait for like a day or two. This should have been like low-hanging fruit. It bounces off that 250, not quite, and then gets back into the upside. Just remember, where was support at 264, 265, I think you're going to run into some resistance on Salesforce in particular. That is definitely one that I should have been way more patient on and watching what was going on with the capitulation in Robinhood and then maybe waiting a little bit more patiently for that name. I just took some Boeing out, so we'll ring the Reggie on that one. And I don't want to ignore CFDI. I got stopped there. Like I said, I got back into this one. Whoops. Oh, come on, load. I got back into this one at about 13, which probably at the end of the end, give me a break. This won't even load for me here. CFDI. Come on, load.
I was looking at 12, yeah.
Yeah, I got back in. It actually broke that 1175 like a while ago, like a few minutes ago, and is still trending into the downside here. This while DWAC, by the way, is starting to get a bit of a bid here, so I have to watch that fund position. But if this can't hold 11, these SPACs, $10, $11 tend to be significant levels, that 10% move. Now, if it can't hold 11, I don't think you want to be chasing the bid on this too far. Next out on Boeing is going to be up around 197.50, as I mentioned before, not waiting for 200. Again, I wanted like a bounce and sort of a scalp play there. That's what we're going to look to be able to do. And then back over to DWAC, which I have no executions on, but I am trading in fund. So I do have to pay attention. It's still trying to get back above 50. As long as it's holding, 50, and even this double top at 52, I prefer the short in PHUN, but I can't ignore the fact that this is now barcoding on PHUN, while DWAC looks like it's put in a bit of a bottom. So it might make sense for me to start trimming some of this at flat and then allowing this to spike back up to 380. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I can take off half here, I'm just going to go ahead and trim, and why am I even waiting on the bid? I should just be a little more aggressive. If I can take off half, that's just what I want to do. So let's get some out there at that 65 level, and then wait until a pop of like 380. So I'm still in position, and I'm short at 63 half, not 64. That kind of rounds those up. And I'm willing to add more to this. As long as we're below 50 and 52 on DWAC, I like the short. But I didn't take anything out the second time, the third time that it went down to 350. That was probably a mistake, so I'll flat some of this, give myself some room to operate in PHUN, which I still believe is a short as long as DWAC looks weak. And another name that we didn't really get to, Moderna, 300, pop, up at 312. It just went green on the day, which means a lot of things just went green on the day, obviously. But it just got to the 50-period moving average, which is also a support level from yesterday at about 311, 312. So I want to see if it can shoot through this. If it can, that 330 to 335, which is the short that I missed yesterday, is the short that I don't want to miss today.
Yep, agreed, 100%. We're just sitting here trading. I mean, look at win rate now, man. Up $1.70 right now on Win. So really happy, obviously, with the way this one's performing here. WYNN here, good movement for me here today on Win. So really happy with that performance as it's starting to go here. So let's see where we can go with this name. No idea what we're going to do. I was looking for an out here. I wish I sort of had one for you, but I don't here on Win. I mean, I was looking initially if we broke back down below this 79.50, but now we're way up, and I'm just debating, like, should we just maybe take this profit back up to 80.50 right now on WYNN? I hope some of you have this with me. If you don't, fine. But I mean, I like this name here, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it works in this environment. So we're going to try to hold on to a little bit of Win here and see what we can do with this. But I do like this name, and we're just going to see if it can continue to go up. That's a couple times now we've topped out here at 80.80. So that's really where my sort of tendency lies here, or hesitancy, sorry, lies here with Win, because because we've just made that move, and I don't want to make the mistake here. So maybe if we break that back down below 79.60 or so, should be our out there. But a good trade so far for us on WYNN. Palantir, there it is, just takes it out, man. The money bag's coming through on some of these names that we love, man. Palantir. I mean, look at this. We talked about it on our sticky note, and look at these other names that we miss here. We miss Microsoft. We miss Roblox. We miss all of these names, man. 330, huge level on Softy, huge level on Roblox right there. Square, take that long. I mean, these are all monster wins for us here today, and really happy that we have you on board and watching with us. But look at Microsoft. Look at that 330 level. We didn't do enough work on this in the pre-market to talk about it, unfortunately. We should have. Microsoft, a big movement off that 330 level. I mean, that was here. If you zoom back, you know, we bounced off 330. Now you're up to 333. That should have been a $3 winner for us. But anyways, we'll move on. There goes Microsoft. We'll look to get into some more of this if we're able to, but a nice move upside here for MSFT. So, you know, some of these big boys are starting to come back in. That was really, Neil, the fear of the market was, for me anyways, was to see some of these big...
BFRI is about to halt up again, by the way. Oh, no, fake halt.
Okay, we'll go over to BFRI, but Apple right now, 161, holding the bottom. So this is exactly what we had hoped for.
Oh, that was a little bit dirty on BFRI. It was about to go into a limit up halt state. It was about 5 to 10 seconds in, 15 seconds is what's needed.
Look at this.
And then it just absolutely reverses. So watch out for this. It looks like some sellers starting to come in. It's up. This is already up like 40%. And I think this could be obviously this could be a dangerous fallback into $5 at any particular time.
Okay, so we're really super happy right now because we'll just spin the money because thanks, guys. I don't know why. I mean, I should have been looking at this a hell of a lot earlier. But look at AMC right now, man. A nice trade. We took that at 50. We just got out at 31.15 for 60 cents. So another win right there for us on AMC. And we'll do this because we got a new position alert on board right now. It's not a big one, but it is one. I don't know why Peloton's up so much today. Omicron, or not Omni. Omicron, be damned. I don't think Peloton works in this environment, but hey, I'm interested in this. I think there is a possibility to buy, and this is going to sound crazy, but you could buy some Peloton here because we can always wait to see what the Christmas numbers are going to be like. I don't know. That's just something to hold your hat on, but we're trying to take out that VWAP, so we went short here. Let's see if we get a print back near here, 44.20, 44.25 or so on Peloton is sort of my target area of concern. It is Brendan time over there at the big screen. Thank God for this rebound. Let's see what's happening now.
Yeah, what a bounce right out of the gate this morning. Everything back to the upside in a big way. Even the Dow, remember, 1.4% now to the upside, was lagging a little when first we spoke this morning. The S&P, the Russell, even a full percent to the upside. That's the 3,000 if you're wondering, 0.8%, the 1,000 as well. A little bit of a laggard. The NASDAQ, both the composite and the 100.7, we'll call it. That is blinking again, Robbie. Why is my screen blinking? It's so strange. Let's go over to a couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. Boeing with a big bounce off of 195 back towards 198 now for Boeing, even trying to get in on the game. 4% day for Boeing. And CrowdStrike did give you a bit of a move off the open there through 205, but right back down. We're still kind of stuck in this range from aftermarket yesterday following the report. Guys, back over to you.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm still in that Boeing, and I like it. I love, like, I kind of felt like, regardless of what happened with the overall market, I mean, the Dow to me felt like it was going to be a bit of a leader today. It's a good thing we got out half of that PHUN. This is what happens. It pops up. It looked like it was getting strong. We're back above 51 on DWAC, but that double top at 52, we're not there yet. So I'm looking. I added once here in the 380 range, which is the first level we like. I still like 4 to 420. DWAC reverses at 52. Wherever that is, that's where I want to get into fun. But now I have to watch out for potential halt because this move started 370. If it goes up to about 410 too fast, I'd have to cover almost no matter what because I don't want to get caught in a halt there. The same way you had that BFRI moving like absolute nuts, the gangbusters. Looking at 52 on DWAC, if that does not get broken, then funds remains a bit of a short. I think that was Miss V. Am I correct?
Hey Neil, we've got a super chat from Mike. Can you guys please take a look at Kirkland? I can feel if support is at $15 in 1 year chart or $11 on the 5-year chart. So guys, could you please take a look at support levels for KIRK?
Kirk. Okay, we'll have a look at Kirk. Thanks for all of that. Just quickly before we go, Peloton. Yes, sir. Spin this one more time. I mean, this is we're so on fire today. It's just you know, we have that stupid dumbass CFVI that really got a hold of us there and tanked that stock. So out of some Peloton there for 40 cents, looking to go lower. We did get out of our win on an 80 break. I was going to use 80 as a breaker. I mean, I hope that's not a mistake, but whatever. We're going to get out of that one. Just like we're raising capital everywhere else, we got to, you know, try to do a good move here on some of these plays. So that's win right now coming out at 80 bucks. Palantir continues to make new highs, man, and almost touched 20 there. We're in light on that one. And then, yes, sir, we are okay. I'm reloaded here on AMC. So, Kirk, okay, let's have a quick look at this. Wow, 800,000 shares. Yeah, it's already through this support, like Neil was mentioning there. Kirkland's Inc. I actually don't know this company, so I'm not very familiar with Kirkland. I don't really even know what they do. The only Kirkland
They're like
I know
a home decor, but they reported last night. I didn't read, and I haven't read.
Yuck!
I haven't read the whole report.
Oh,
so
this
is
chart.
That's the caveat. I haven't read the entire report.
You
But
actually read some of it? That's amazing.
well, I just pulled it up because we got the super chat.
How was this on your radar?
So, I mean, on the daily chart, 1350 is your support level. 1325 to 1350. You double top. You go all the way back to 2020. Double top and then support on its breakout. I know it's cut in half. And I know you're looking at 15. By the way, 52 taken out on DWAC. So I'm out of fun when it just broke $4. Only position left on is going to be that Boeing long, which is working, but I still like DWAC in front of that high of the day and fun in front of the high of the day, both of them, 57 and 42. I think 1350 is your line in the sand. I wouldn't be, I mean, if you're still in this thing, it can't necessarily be good. I would let it settle down. That is an ugly looking chart, and I really don't know too much about the report there to be able to give a fundamental thing, but 1350 would be the level. That's 10% down from here, by the way. So I'm looking at this level all the way back from 2020. That's like November of 2020, where it held that support last, and it was a previous top. That's about the only thing I can say about it.
It's not. I mean, I know Kirkland from Costco, but it's not the same. It's not the same company. But I mean, someone just mentioned that Kirkland is Costco brand stuff in Canada anyway. It's Costco stuff. What? I didn't know Costco. I thought that was Costco's own brand, Kirkland. So I didn't realize that was a different company altogether. But okay, so thanks for the super chat. We're learning more and more. We have to do some work on that for sure, because like I said, not very familiar with it. But you are getting an opportunity today, or you did get one anyways, early to finally get into some Costco down here at 516, 517, and now this thing is just gone again up to 527. I mean, every single time Costco gets beat down, it seems to be coming right back up. But not the last couple of days. We did dip down the last 2 days here on Costco. Worse sales numbers than expected, so we can watch out for them. Same-store sales month over month wasn't great there for Costco, so they got beat down a little bit today. As you can see, still negative into a green tape, so that's never something that we like. Good thing we took some of that out on Peloton, because right now, man, this is just took off. Like, I don't know what just happened to Peloton right here, but the market's taking off. We obviously got out of our square too early as that. Well, I mean, we topped out there. We got out at VWAP. Now that's bouncing back. I never seem to hold things long enough, except for when they're losers. Like this CFVI, still bouncing back a little bit. What is this, 1160 level? Maybe that's a good breaking spot for CFVI. Let me cancel my 12. That looks too high at this point. But I don't know. I want to try to get my money back on this, but at the same time, if it's not there, it's not there. DWAC up to 53 right now, so that's starting to motor. So maybe there is going to be something here on CFVI, guys.
I feel like I'm looking at DWAC, and it hasn't really turned, but I almost feel like I got out of fun too early. But that stock, because it's low price, like, you can move. If it can move like 40 cents too fast, you got to watch out for a halt, which is part of the problem of trading it. If DWAC comes up, like I said, that 57 level looks pretty good for rollover. If not, right here at 55. The market's still going, and it feels like Snowflake now wants to go with it. I'm not reversing into a long in this position. I did get out of the short in front of that 340 bottom, so that did work out for me. It still has a chance to retest higher. Like, that 360 level can still be in play from earlier in the pre-market. So I want to give it some runway to go up to that high. I'm looking at DWAC off the high of the day, and of course, Moderna is the other one that we're watching. That's still churning upside here. Obviously, the 300 break is what you wanted. That 312 level was key. Anywhere close to that 330 is a sell. 330 to 335 are going to be sells. And BFRI, and the reason why, I wasn't trying to necessarily interrupt. It's just when BFRI made that reopen, and then it had that failed halt at the upside there, and I was like, watch out. That's all danger zone. It then halted down. It's still under pressure. It managed to get back to VWAP and then fail again. But once you have a top like this, failed halt top, wick top, and then a halt to the downside. A lot of times, you know, it can be done for the day. You want to see if it can reclaim VWAP at some point, but this one could be done as we know it. Boeing, it's managed to go a dollar in the money a couple of times here, and I'm still looking for it to really continue this break. Like, I'd like to see it get up to this range, 197.50. There was a dip by chance at 195, which I probably should have come in and got with the market trying to head upside, but guess what? The NASDAQ just reclaimed 16,000 the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I want to be very careful. Like, if I'm range playing something like that Snowflake or range playing Boeing, well, I don't want to be buying the dip if we're showing signs of a turn on Boeing. So I'm gonna lay off. I'm still in the long position. Like, I'm not getting out of it, but I'm gonna lay off it a little bit, and then I'm gonna admit that I got slapped around on Funware because DWAC is right back to 52, and exactly where I got out of my fun at $4 was exactly where I should not. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm watching DWAC and I'm making simultaneously trade in fun, but I should have been looking at the levels in fun as well, because I give this an extra 5 cents, which is all it would have taken, right up to this level here from the pre-market, that I'm not worried about it. But I was watching the DWAC chart, saw it churn through 53 and decided to take off that trade and then take the hit. So what turned from a good short into a bad one, it was watching the underlying name a little bit too much. And it's not really an underlying name. It's watching the related name a little bit too closely for me there.
All right, so Peloton, you know, we tried it again. We put on a big position, not a big one, but ahead of that 46. And unfortunately, it looks like right now we just got, I mean, I don't know if we got a bad print or not, but we just got taken out there above 46. And now you can see it's starting to move back to the downside. So we'll see if we can average in to this one more time and play off that high there. We can make this all back, no problem. Just got wicked out there at 46. So let's see if that is the turnaround. I like to get back in when I see these things happen. So there it is. We are back in. We tried to get in a little bit better than this, but now it's coming back in. So this is going to work out for us, hopefully, back into the downside. We did see it resist right around here, 80s, 90s, something like that. So I'm sitting on the bid at 80. There it is. We take another fill right there. We're not going to celebrate yet because this has to get down for us to make any real money on this play. So we're going to wait to see if that does happen. But a nice fill there. We can get some at 45.50 if we're lucky enough to get it. I'm going to put an offer at 60 right here, see if we can grab that. But so far, so good here. I'm hoping, anyways, on Peloton as we see that wick of death there. That's what we're looking for, man. And we'll see if it can hold true for us here on Peloton. So far, so good on this name on the short, but we did get blown out. There we go. We're on the bid at 60. Hopefully we can get filled there, but we did get hit on that. There it is, now down to 50. Okay, so here we go, Peloton. So we're making this all back right now. 46.07 on the short. I just wish this would have happened before, and we wouldn't have lost initially. So damn it, sometimes we got to wait for these moves, but damn, we stuck with it, and we were pretty positive here on Peloton. So here it comes right back in. Let's take another bid at 45 and change downside. If we can get like a 45-teen, we'll do that. Peloton right now got hit on that short, but we put it right back on. Excuse me, we won't be positive on it unless this thing can break through 45, but at least we're able to make a little bit back there. That's how we trade. AMC took out that 50. We're not going to hold this through 30 bottom, so watch out for that now. AMC starting to look weak as the market right now, guys, fading out pretty good.
Yeah, just going to show the NASDAQ here. This is that 16,000 break here in the NASDAQ. Let me zoom in so you can see my 60-minute a little bit better. Broke that 16 and coming right back in, blowing past like a 50 period, and this is only a 60-minute chart, guys. And if we can't hold this, I mean, it could be ugly for it. I'm actually looking at CRM right now in front of a 257. If this market can bounce back above, get back above like, you know, this 159.5 or so, I like the CRM long in front of 257. That's a stock I like to dip buy for yesterday anyway, thinking the earnings report wasn't as bad as it seemed. Brendan's got another name for it.
It's interesting to see the rotation, some money coming out of some of these SPACs and into others, DWAC and Foon. One of those. Here's another one. First day trading here for Grab, guys. Southeast Asia's biggest ride share and delivery firm. $40 billion SPAC merger completes today, straight to the downside for Grab. Still, I mean, 2% from the actual SPAC price, guys.
All right. Yeah, thanks for the nice calls there. Shout outs on Peloton. I see someone there. I forget. Oh, what was it? It was a female. Where's her name there? Marcella. Thank you, Marcella, for that call it on Peloton, but at the same time, man, we went the other way too. So it wasn't a great trade for us there on Peloton. So hopefully that, it'll work back down into the downside. And now it's coming back in. We just took a bid at 56. So hopefully that will come back in, and we can at that point celebrate a little bit of our wins. So hopefully that can come in and we'll be able to hit that. So that's going to be Peloton right there, back in now, 30 cents in the money for us. That's good. But right now, we're about to get out of this right now, actually. AMC breaking back below 70. We're going to get out. It just tank citied on us right here. So we averaged into this position. It's going to be a loser. We will wind up losing on AMC here today, it looks like anyways, because we're going to get out if it breaks 70, which is going to happen right now. So AMC, we've averaged into this one. We are just giving it back to, I just don't want to hold into this. So again, we may make a mistake here on AMC. So let's see if it takes us out and then somehow battles right back up, and then we can punch it long. But right now we got to get out if it continues to go here. So 29.70 right now. AMC out of the money, 40 cents, and not a great trade on that one either. So some of these positions have come back in on us. We're still positive on the day, but not overly. So that's the thing that we're not happy with. But whatever. There goes AMC out, and again, we're just getting out right back into these levels right here. So yeah, unfortunately, that's the out. If we take 29.80, we'll get back in. Small hit on AMC, but still turns us red for the day on that name. So I'm not super happy. But I'm going to take it again. 29.80 breaks. See, this is why we get out, because it's continuing its move to the downside. If it does want to resist this 29.50, we will take a 29.80 long on AMC.
Yeah, and just looking at the pullbacks that came in, Boeing gave a reload at 194.50, so able to get a better price as 194 held. And watching CRM is the market, overall, like if you were to look at it, apologies, I'm not going to shift the chart. I'm just going to show you guys the other one I'm looking at here. Excuse the black. But this is the NASDAQ, and I'm watching it pull right back in, hold previous support. This is where we broke down early this morning, and this is where we broke down. This is 15.9 area. It just bounced off that level, so that's one of the reasons why I just got back into some of that Boeing trade. I'm looking right here at CRM, and if it can hold this VWAP, I'm going to look for, actually just got the entry there into CRM, which I was looking for that 257 area. I'm giving this to 255. I think a couple bucks worth of risk. If you head back to 260, that's just better than 1.5 to 1 at first target. And if the market continues to fall, well, then we'll pay down some of that money that we made on Snowflake and go into the name that we loved yesterday, which is CRM. Boeing and CRM are the plays that I'm in. DWAC, because I know some of you guys are still watching this thing. Yeah. Right back below 50, fun is back to 377. So I definitely got wicked out on that, on that one there is DWAC. It broke through 52. It resisted that next level up at 55, and that next level up, the pre-market lower high, is exactly where I should have allowed it to stop to. So DWAC looks like it's going to continue to head back into the downside. If there's another pop here, maybe it's got some signs of strength, and that CFRI catching a bit of a bid. Brendo.
More earnings to pass along, guys. Kroger reported, nice day for KR, up 10%. Beat across the board, also lifted their full year forecast. So clearing some big levels here for KR.
So I will say, hopefully, I think I said CFRI was the one catching a bit of a bid. BFRI also catching a bit of a bid as well. But CFRI, that was when we were trading this morning. Stopped out at 11.75 down here. That caught a bid at $11. So I don't want to mix those two names up. Both did catch a bit of a bid, but that same price that I got at 11.75 is now resistance. So if it can break back out, hey, guess what? 11 SPAC support. Sometimes it's not even. Sometimes it should just be easy. Honestly, $11 hold, you should just buy at 11, buy at 10, and then play those key levels on a SPAC, because 10's a magical number. CRM, like I mentioned, I'll get some shares out in front of 260, so about 259 and change or something like that. But watch out for this 11.75. That should be a pretty good level here on CFRI. Previous support now turning into resistance. I'm going to be watching that pretty closely, as well as DWAC 50s. Want to come back to Moderna because, yeah, I wanted it higher, and it decides to turn to 319. There was nothing about 319 that I liked, but there is something about where it's bouncing that makes some sense, this 310 to 312 level. Go to the higher time frame. Have a quick look in the afternoon, right at the close, right at 310. This is exactly where we closed and then had a bit of a flush in the aftermarket. So pretty key level. If Moderna can't hold this, it's going to get cracked. Was that Brendan? Valeria.
Good enough.
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Rolando Vergara. Good morning, guys. Can you all check GGPI, Polestar SPAC? Keep up the good work. Watch the show every day from Mexico City. Guys, GGPI.
Yo, what up, Mexico City? Hope everything's going well over there. Holla at your
Sorry for what Team Canada did, but
I'm not sorry.
I'm not. I guess I'm not
for that one, but yeah.
Canadian,
So
gotta apologize.
Mexico's a great soccer nation. I mean, we're just
They've had their due.
Right, we're just getting there. So I'm going to support Canada always. Obviously, so is Neil. So okay. I mean, look, Canada versus England. Canada, right?
Well, obviously.
Okay, good. Okay, so
They just would never win.
Wow, you'll see. Okay, so Peloton to the downside right now, but there it is. So we're going to go rain down the money on Peloton, guys. Yeah, we snipered that one. That was a good trade. Did you want to step in quickly? I saw you raise.
Oh no,
your
no,
hand.
I was just thinking, what was that? It was Polestar.
Yeah, GGPI. So Neil will take a look at that. I just want to quickly go over Peloton as now it just crashed down. We just got that bid. Like, why couldn't this happen before? We'd be infinitely much happier than we are right now, but that is what that is there. And then AMC, guys. We did exactly what we said. We went long on an 80 break, and then we got out at 30. Some of them, we got out at 40%. Let's see if it now wants to work higher. The out's going to be 29.50 now. So we did get back in, snipe some of that money back, and now let's just see where we go from here. But I like AMC, obviously, here into the rest of this day. So we'll wait to see it. Just a break of 29.50 and we're gone. You got to have these outs. You got to be smart sometimes here. And I like that as an out right there, 29.50 for Peloton, guys.
Look
or for AMC, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And like much like C3AI, like on a day today where the market, and I say this loosely because I'm like, market holding up, the NASDAQ is trying to hold Greensville, and I'm making the bet in CRM that it can here, and if it doesn't, I got to get out. But this is, and sometimes I love the fact that these levels show up where we traded it before. This is exactly, the first time I traded Polestar was on a pop right into 12, a failed break here that caught me shorting it at 12.15. And then that was a pretty solid trade, back in. And then it had a breakout through 12.50, which I took the long at that price. So you can see the trading that we were doing for a couple of days, and you're right back to that. So these are key prices, and at 12.15 that it's holding right now. I mean, if you wanted to try to pick something up, that's not the worst level in the world. If I zoom in and just show you maybe a little bit better here, if you zoom in and look to where that support is when it tried to take this level, that was down to about 11.60. So if you're holding something, well, I mean, you should always have a plan before you get in, but if you're looking to buy a dip, and that's the reason you're asking about Polestar, then this level back down to about that 11.50 to 11.60, that would be your support for a bit of a day trade. I would rather see it consolidate on a day like today where we just went red on the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
You need to be catching a falling sword here. I don't think you do, but if you're looking for the levels, I just sort of gave it to you. It's up to you to take it out when it presents yourself, which it could be presenting itself to me on CRM. Oddly enough, that's weird. We just broke down on the NASDAQ, and I'm like, okay, so CRM's got to be absolutely failing on me, and not really. I mean, I just got.
The opposite.
I mean, it's interesting. I just got ticked out of Boeing at 94, so we'll win on the first half and then lose in the second half and be close enough to flat. But CRM is holding up pretty well here around VWAP, so that's a pretty good sign here for Salesforce. But sometimes it's about where it's come from. And this has already fallen pretty hard the last couple of sessions, so it probably has a little bit more support down here because of the 50 period, sorry, the 200 period average, and how far it already fell in yesterday's action, one of the weakest stocks in the market. So CRM possibly saving me today by how weak it was yesterday.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense, actually. So Peloton right now, huge win for us, man. AMC does come out again. We're not going to hold on to this thing. So we're able to make some money back. Not everything. AMC, there's the drop down there. So it's going to be a red name for us, but it's not that bad. So we're pretty happy with that so far. Peloton again, man. Big time win for us. I mean, I just wish that we would have been able to hold on. And why did it have to break 46? I should have just let that break happen and then hit it down. So unfortunately, right now we do have a big win on this one, 132. It's the only position that we have on right now, $1.40 in the money. We did dump out once Palantir there broke back down, then that was that. Like, I can't believe the kind of successful day that we're having. Oh, you're welcome there, Sal G, for Roblox yesterday, man. I love that name, and today I took the swing trade on it good, man. Neil always dropping knowledge of def, not gibberish. So don't worry, Neil.
That's one of my favorite tracks. I can't believe you dropped it. Ryan Leslie had a song.
Yeah, Swiss Francs, but
no,
that's not the same song.
Gibberish is hilarious. He was in the dude was in the studio,
yeah.
And sometimes you just you have a melody, you have a beat,
spitting?
and you just start spitting random lyrics to it to try and form the song, and then you decide to record it as an actual song. So the song is gibberish because he's just making noises, and people try to make up lyrics to it. I love that jam, by the way. Someone asked what is going on with AT&T. That's a great question. What is going on with AT&T? I mean, up at $23. I'm kind of curious to see what maybe some of the other names in the space are doing. I probably spoke too soon on CRM because Now it wants to try to crack that 255. So a bit of a delayed reaction, I think. My daily chart not working on AT&T, so I'll go to the 15-minute here, right into resistance. So I got to check to see what the catalyst possibly could be. It's just a rebound play. The stocks have been getting trashed lately, and there's been some talk of consolidation within that space. So that could be a little bit of it. But look at this 23 level. On surface, this screams a short, given the momentum in this level. So I know there's going to be monster bids and offers on this stock. When I look at 23, if I see any size, it's a short right in front of it. Brendan is at the big screen because it's 10:20 already.
Holla.
Hey guys, yeah, a few things to discuss in small cap world this morning. I mentioned this OMER right before the open. There was an 860. If you go to the daily chart, that was that last kind of pivot high on the daily chart. That was really it. If it trades above, you're wrong. Otherwise, watch out below. And just a complete flush. Did give you a really good opportunity to add if you were already in this. I did not. I could have taken that break to the downside as well. $1.50 to the downside for OMER. Let's go to VIR, one from yesterday. I took a quick shot at this in the pre-market here and then got away from it, but the better opportunity was this test of 53. We're down to 45 now for VIR. Had news yesterday. CFVI, I waited for the breakdown back below some of these support levels and resistance levels from the pre-market, and then took that trade back to 11, guys, for CFVI. Back over to you.
Oh, I'm not even gonna get 23s.
This is a violent day, man. I mean, I was just looking here at some of the positions that we had earlier, like Square, like unbelievable outs here for Square, guys. Like not normally. I mean, thank God we were able to get the bump up because, like I would normally be still in this one, like praying that we got a bounce, but we don't have to do that because we already got out. And I think that when you're in this kind of a day trade environment, we talked about this, man. Nibble, take some profits. Square right now, you never know where we're gonna go. Like, it's definitely not the all clear. I mean, and that's why I was saying to you, you want to nibble into some of these positions. You don't need to load up your bags right now here. But I think that for some of these names that we like, you might as well get in and see what's happening. Like Uber's up 3% today. Some of these other names coming in, man. Apple is not holding that 160. It's starting to fall back down as well right now. So that's 159.50 or so coming through. Neo, Canada Goose, we talked about that. Fisker down 3. We can look at Lucid. I saw a super chat there for Lucid as we're going. That's down 4% as well. So LCID just took out 50 actually on the downside there as I'm looking. My eyes are going up here. I'm just looking at some other charts as we try to find some hot lists to try to find some names that are rocking. But there's Lucid, takes down that 50 and see it down to 48 and change. Is there a level here on Lucid that we're going to try to work with? I mean, you come back in, that's that 48. Let's call it 49 flat. So, I mean, there's a level there. And if you come back in here, 46s maybe. I mean, I don't know. We can look at a day chart for Lucid. I know the daily kind of looks crazy because it goes parabolic sometimes, which is fantastic. But yeah, I guess 47 right here. Maybe a level looks pretty good. But you're touching down to 48. I think if this continues to crash, we do want to pick some Lucid up in and around 48. But 49 seems dangerous to me right now. But the market is bouncing back up, so that's a good one. Peloton, I did put it out. I know, Neil, I'll give it to you in a second. Peloton here breaking back above 45. So 45.10, we're out of Peloton, man. We just had a nice little move to the downside, but let's try to reward ourselves and make sure we take a buck on this. So 45.10 break, we're out of Peloton.
Yeah, I mean, the bounce looking pretty nice here. I mean, CRM, like I said, it might have just gone too far down yesterday to capitulate as much as the market just did there. So I'm in front of 59s here. I'm showing you the higher time frame 15-minute chart instead of the 1 minute, which usually is what I would do. I'm looking at this range here, this little cluster. That's where we want to take our profit. So we're getting pretty close to getting our first leg out there. BFRI, which a couple of things caught some bids there. One of them, of course, BFRI. The other, I know CFVI did as well. But this is the fail break that happened right through this like 615-ish area and then through 650 and then bouncing back down. So this is a level it's trying to retake. It's almost like you just throw out that top end of the range and then say, oh, the lower high you'd anticipate be at that 615 to 620 area. And then short sellers, which I don't know. I mean, I'm not, for some reason, I'm not feeling this one right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's a gut thing. Maybe it's the way the tape was looking, or the fact that it resisted the halt down and then broke back above VWAP. That's probably what it is, actually. But you're looking at, probably a lot of people are looking at this and trading it short, 580, 605, and then looking at that higher low, both from here, the 650, 625, going back and looking at the 15-minute chart or the higher time frame and saying that 615 is where they expect it to come in, and it already put in a failed break. So there's already some trapped longs that may be still holding on to it. That's why I'd still be treading lightly and cautiously. But if you break some of those shorts, hey, that's good for those long trades. I just don't ever like buying up here. It gives you a reason to potentially hold if you bought the dip, or if you're holding some and just rolling with the profits. But as far as buying up there, I never believe in making those types of plays. I just think the risk reward isn't there at all. And then DWAC, by the way, right back toward those lows. So the overall thesis was certainly right with DWAC and Fun. The execution was a little bit shoddy on my part because Fun's back down to that key 360 level while DWAC is at the low of the day. If we reclaim the low and I can get Fun tight to that 360, I'll probably jump right back into the same short as before, but I want to see us take out that low of the day first.
Yeah, wow, yeah, what a crazy day so far, guys. We knew this was going to happen. I mean, welcome to December. Sometimes it can be slow. Not going to be the case this time around. AMC, so I'm going to go back to the well here. I'm going to buy some AMC, and we just did, trying to look at some different names now. The same names, but, trying to think now it's 10:30. So, the first hour is done. We can now sort of hopefully settle down a little bit and see, where these markets want to go and try to pick the right names, and then just do a little bit more work on some of these levels. So we are long right here, 29.50, 49 on AMC. And just looking back to see where we were in the pre-market, I mean, we bounced off this 28.80 a bunch of times. So I'm just thinking that this might be a key level there, and especially yesterday we took off from it and closed about, I mean, this is in the aftermarket, but we went up, we broke through 28.9 and just ripped. So hopefully this can turn out to be a nice win for us. We are back long 29.49. Rob must be listening to some nice music over there. $30 and change. We're going to go up to 30 flat for our first out. If we can get 50 cents on this, we'll take it, man. But right now, we're just doing that work. We're putting in the work, and we're looking to see, what names we can buy here at some nice levels. I did see your comment on Clover. I'll talk about that in a minute. What's up, Brendan?
We saw this one on the upgrades and downgrades board this morning. On the downgrade side, Ford back to pre-market and initial highs here off the open around 1990 to 20, a big level for Ford.
Go ahead.
Every time I hear that, I'm like almost reminded of just check what GM is doing, because it's sitting there. Good run for it, back above $60, but it just pulled back in. That's a missed opportunity on the breakout at 59. Not usually a day trading stock, but the reason I say that 59 area, it's like $1 above that 50 period. It's on the nice little verge. You actually just had the 50 cross the 200 just recently, and then the market pulled it back in. So you want to see it hold up. I feel like it's almost a given. You can't have the EV space pop like this without a value name like GM eventually following through. So that's my 2 cents. DWAC still at that low of the day, getting real close to that break, and you're still getting a good price on funds. So when that breaks the low on DWAC, there's a part of me that just says, well, why don't you just short DWAC through the low of the day? But I'm going to stick to the thesis of before, where I like Funware to execute the trade a little bit better. So I'm going to stick to that. If we break 46 and I can get a 360 area, that's what I'm going to do on Fun. Someone asked about a short in front of 23 on AT&T. It already happened. It went to 22.98.
18 was the low?
So, I mean, it's already given it to you, and it's giving you that scalp trade. I'll probably come to it again just because there's likely to be good size on that level, but the first time is usually the best time. If it comes there again, I mean, it's obviously where your stop is going to be. If it breaks 23, it's out, but I'd be thinking about 5, 10, 15 cents instead of 10, 15, 20 cents, which it gave you the first time.
All right. Wow. Again, like Ford as if, man, like, you want to talk about names that you should be dip buying into? I mean, I put a few on there, Win, and a few other names that we've talked about, buy high quality names. And I know Neil just talked about GM as well. So, yeah, what a great dip buy, man. Back to $19 here on Ford today. I'm on a show. What area code's 352? Is that like a new Mississauga area code or something? Up to the upside there, 1995 right here on Ford. So if you think the market is going back down to the downside right now, I have to say this is not a horrible short at all for Ford. You're back at $20. We've seen it bounce around here. We were able to get out of some. We've been talking about our Ford trades anyways as we go, but Ford's been a good trade for me. And right now you're back up to $20. So this, if the market does turn around here, obviously I'm going to promote this as a downturn, because Ford's already been down here today. We've already been to 19 and change. So if the market does want to continue moving downside, I think Ford, just like I said yesterday, selling high quality names. I promise Clover will do that when we get back from Brendan.
Another volume spike here for BFRI, got above 6 there again, immediately slammed back down. So 40% trying to hold around these highs here for Biofrontera, heads up on BFRI once again. 10:30, let's get a quick check on how things over in Europe are shaping up. Miss V, what's up?
Hey Brandon, European markets are negative due to concerns over new COVID-19 variant. Meanwhile, V4 Pharma trading in Switzerland is up around 20% on reports that Australian CSL is in talks to buy the company for around $10 billion. Back to you.
Yeah, back towards day highs for the ES here as we speak as well. 1%, really nice day. At some point, we will have a proper shot where everyone can be seen in the same shot. Guys.
But no promising on timing of that said shot.
It will happen.
Yeah, I know. I think we're waiting for some equipment and some creativity as far as how to figure that out. But okay, so about Clover. Remember when I was saying that you don't really want to buy names that aren't of high quality, things like that. Look, I've doubled my Clover position. It wasn't a heavy one to begin with, but my average price I think is $6.50 or so. I'll double check that after. But Clover just continues to make moves to the downside here. And honestly, I mean, I don't know when the tide is going to turn for a lot of these companies, but this is what Clover looks like. I mean, I could go over a lot, man. SoFi is back down to $16. Like that was $24 a week and a half ago, SoFi. And you could say the same thing for Clover. I mean, even the fact that it was at $8 here just not too long ago. There's been basically no green days. So I would say you have to hold your bags on a lot of these names, man. We tried to get out of SoFi. We never tried to get out of Clover, but I thought that we were due for another bump, something like this on tweets, on things like that, but it doesn't seem to be, mattering anymore. The only sort of positivity here on Clover is at least there's not a whole hell of a lot of volume churning through here, but that's not necessarily a good thing either, because no volume means they're kind of leaving this name for dead right now, and the only volume's coming in on the sell side. If you do look at a 20-minute chart, we're at the lows now, so I can't give any positivity here for Clover. However, we do know that healthcare is changing right now. And, this is a name it's a new name. You're going to get some people probably underweight on this, looking to buy back in and trying to get some, delta back in because the market's getting killed. Maybe some of these other names on positive talk start to go back up to the upside. But really, this is just all desperation talk right now, because Clover is just in the penalty box forever, it seems like. I don't know what any of these names are going to do. Like, they came to market. They have $1 billion or something in revenues. So it's not like they're a fly-by-night company, but we'll wait to see what Clover can do. It's just, I don't have anything positive to say. I wish there was a chart here that gave us an answer, but you're right now at 52-week lows as we speak. So, I would just say hold on to everything. I don't think it's right to sell right now, but again, could be wrong.
I mean, if you're holding something like that, it's a speculative nature to some of those stocks. Just know where your spec plays, and then just understand that sometimes you have to hold through some pain. That formation, that at 1175 on CFVI, still very much in play, but it did retest the bottom. What I like about this for the break, almost a little bit more now, is it actually broke 11 again. So it broke 11, comes right back. I mean, some people probably were trying to. Stop. It just. For sure, it stopped out some more longs, maybe even got some shorts down here, which makes the breakout at 1175 just a little bit more enticing. I'm locked and loaded to go, but it just feels like an even better trade, potentially to get off the schneid. On the other end of the spectrum is BFRI here. As by the way, I looked the gift horse in the mouth on CRM. I could have taken profits for $1.50. I was waiting for $2. I will not make that mistake if it goes back up to that 258-ish area. BFRI. There is the rejection of the level we talked about, that 615 to 625. That's good for the shorts, obviously. So another wick high, but it's at a lower range, and that lower range becomes, I think, an out for anyone that takes the short off of $6, which I'm looking to do now. If it does bounce off that halt high, which is 575, I'd look for an entry around 610 or so, and then a quick little stop out there, probably at that 25 mark. Now falling under some pressure here, guys, as the market pulling right back in on the NASDAQ. So it looks like we're going to be heading through that bottom, and the low on DWAC just got taken, and I can still get Funware around that 360 price, so I just did it. That same thesis, I'm going right back to it. So DWAC takes out the low of the day. Fun is still right around that 60 level. I just got 62.5 to the short side.
Oh man, like I'm not having very much fun here because we're trying to pick up some AMC. We're going to try to be patient with it. Oh, yeah. So we're long AMC 2930. I mean, I don't really know where we're going to go with this name. So so far not so good on this, but we'll have to wait to see where we go. But AMC right now looking pretty sick, man. So I don't know. We'll wait. I don't really have a level. There's a 28 level looking pretty large here on AMC down here at 28, but you know, it's starting to bounce. I'm just gonna. You know what, I'm going to take out a piece at 94. It's down. I didn't expect it to break 29 so fast there. So I don't know, man. This was up 7%. We thought we had hit a nice little one here, but it doesn't look like it's really going to matter at all as AMC right now just getting clocked out, man. So let's just push auto cancel off on that. We'll see if it goes. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but we still do like some AMC there. We just did take a little bit out. You know, SoFi, we did talk about that. I was wondering about Palantir as well today. As we're right back into this level, I would much rather get another low like this. So that's sort of what I'm waiting for. Trying to be patient right now. I think that's the name of the game, Neil.
I tend to agree. That's why you see me go back to the thesis with Fun, where I think that makes sense to me. I can hold on to CRM because it's got a good level and it's managing to hold up. I clearly should have held on to Snowflake. That broke that low of the day. It's now down to that 333 level. So I mean, pulling back in, obviously, it was up so much that it just felt like that was a little bit sort of low-hanging fruit. Someone just saying there, Sydney Schrum, CFEI is off to Schneid. Is it? Because I mean, until it breaks 1175, oh, good timing. I got stop long. I got a stop order to go long, so I guess a conditional order to go long if it breaks out this level 1175. Good timing because it just resisted it for a second time here. So if it breaks through, that's when I want it. I'd rather catch the momentum to the upside. This one has been going inverse to the market, man. Like when the market made a rebound and started to come down, now that the market's falling back in, it looks like the money coming back into this a little bit here. Just the SPAC of the day, that's the name of the play here. Someone asked a little bit earlier about Tesla. I don't always have a trade or an idea on Tesla. The next level I like down is 1140, sorry, 1040. And until it gets to that price, I mean, I don't know that I see anything too big. I mean, it's at this low of the day, which, I mean, I don't know if I like shorting this. But the market's still looking like it's trying to hold this 15.8 level. I don't love shorting Tesla through the bottom when it's already fallen like $30. So I'm kind of sitting Tesla out until it maybe drops like $20 to $25 further. That's just me. Going to hang on to CRM and Fun, and those are the two names I want to play. BFRI, it's getting back into that range where I shorted in front of 615, 620, but hasn't quite taken 6 again. So I'm being patient with that one as well.
Oh man, it seems like, yeah, patience definitely going to be the name of the game here today for us. And I'm going to try to be patient again with Square as we're going to wait for that 187.50 or so. Square's been falling back down. I like the name here. We have the change, the corporate change to block today. It doesn't seem like that's really affecting the stock at all. If anything, it's going to the downside. I sort of thought that might just get the name back on people's minds. And it did work early, man. You could see Square. We had a big time success on this name today. What happened? Where's my trades from today? Is this from yesterday? What am I doing here? There it is. Okay. So there it is. So these are the trades early on Square. And again, man, it's like, see you later. We just didn't really want to be too much a part of these kind of moves here for Square today. We wanted the early bid, like I said, you know, trying to see what kind of news would spark what here on Square. And yeah, so far so good for us. But, you know, all positivity. It's my number one stock here today is going to be Square. So again, like pretty happy with it. But at the same time, you know, it's now pulling back in, and I think we could try one more time off this 187 bottom. So we're trying to be patient with this. Like we said, we're getting into Square right now at this level, 187.50. I put a bid. Obviously, I'm going to make that 70 now. We should have just got hit there, and then now we'd be laughing, but we didn't. So 187.70. I'm going to change my bid right now on SQ. So let's wait to see if we can get that long. But I think patience hopefully will pay off here, guys.
So two things. One, Fun about to give like another win down to 350. So back to the original price that we're shorting it. The low of the day sits here at like 347. So I'm going to take some profit down here if I can and jump in front of that bid. There was a good question there. I think it was, I want to say it was Carlos. Carlos asking if he thinks we're going down because the Senate's talking about shutting the government down. The market has been known to react to that. I think just lately it's just whatever catalyst is working, fair enough. But keep a couple of things in mind. Well, one important thing in mind, U.S. government doesn't really shut down, and ultimately it's just politics that gets resolved regardless of who's doing it or who's in power. It doesn't happen. It's usually not going to happen. So if that's your reason for being afraid, I don't like it as a reason. If you're holding off on stocks and you have supply chain concerns and you're worried about a couple of, waiting instead a little bit, fair enough. If you're worried about valuations, fair enough. If you're worried about a stock you just reported, fine. But the government shutdown, to me, that's never a reason to sell. I understand it does move the market at times, but they just don't shut it down. It's just it's political speak that always gets resolved 100 times out of 100. Already 10:40, time is flying. Maybe it doesn't feel like it, but that board does look pretty good there, Brent. No time for sector watch.
Yeah, one of those days it's a little deceiving here. I'll show you a very positive looking board, but only 0.5% here for the overall market. And that in part thanks to this group front and center here. The tech sector, and more specifically, semiconductors, basically all in the red, and quite a bit as well. 4% there for Micron, LRCX, AIM at 3.7, TER, Skyworks, KLAC. NVIDIA, I just saw there right at the bottom, up 1%, worth noting. So relative strength there for NVIDIA. That's Apple, if you're wondering, 3% on the day to the downside. Pretty much everything else, though, in the hardware equipment makers positive, as are software makers having a nice day, all in positive territory. The rest of this board actually not that bad overall. Industrials having a really good day, back to the upside. If I flip over here, it's the banking sector, though, that's leading. So the entire thing in positive territory, not a single stock to the downside. For financials today, consumer discretionaries, there are a few that are standing out here to the downside. PVH, Etsy again today, 4%, DG as well, about 3.5%. Under Armour, very small there, 1.5% in negative territory. But otherwise, all the travel names here, hotels, the cruise lines, all back to the upside, 3 to 5% for travel-related names. So as I said, kind of deceiving board here. It's worth noting energy stocks as well having a nice bounce back day, guys. Only 0.5% though for the S&P. Back to you.
Hey, we are reloaded. One of the famous sayings that we have here on the show, but we're reloaded maybe in the wrong way here with Square, as it's just continuing to make moves to the downside. We reloaded on two names here, Square and AMC. So AMC we reloaded and able to get a little bit out. You can see where we're long now, 28.75, a break of 28. We're gone on that name. Doesn't look like that's going to be a fun name for me here today. Is going to be AMC as I've been battling this thing the whole damn way, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get paid off here at all on AMC, so a 28 break is going to be a problem. But I'm a little more positive on SQ right now. I think this is a name, the AMC trade is what it is. I mean, it sucks. I've been trying to pick some of those bottoms. I know a lot of you probably have that in your account as well, and it was a great day for AMC. It started up 7 or 8%, and now you see what's happening, man. It's crush city to every name right now. Look at the NASDAQ down to day's low. Remember when I called it, man? What were we positive? We were actually, the market was about negative. Remember, it was like minus 0.2 or something. We did get a huge bump up to that 16,000, and then bang, right back down. We've been looking at 16,000. Shout out to Jude on the chat there, was talking about that 16,000 level, and yeah, we've been all over that one, and yeah, there it goes, breaking downside. So we're going to watch out for Square now. I don't have really any ranges. This is already well below where we thought it would go here on Square. So one last try here, and we will see where we go. But Square right now, 186. I'm just going to give it down to that. Let's give this one $1 of breathing room, and then we're gone. But right now, Square not having a fun day here, Neil. Just a disgusting move.
No, and there was a case found in another Omicron case found in Minnesota, apparently. So
wow, what a surprise.
We saw what it did yesterday. I'm looking at CCL here. It just broke VWAP back below this $17 level. And if I want to try to pick something up to the short side in front of 17 on CCL, is probably not the worst way to go. So I'm going to slip on the offer here, see if I can catch it. I just missed a dip buy in CFVI, which I don't think that's going to care about the case. And I'll ring the Reggie a little bit here on PHUN. So admittedly, I think I totally, it was the right call to cover half the trade on Funware, I think here at 360. But, it doesn't really matter when I bungled a short up here and I should have given it more room. Now you're back to the levels that I like. And if we take out the low of the day and DWAC remains down here at 46, it is low of the day, I think we're good to go. CRM is holding up pretty well. CFVI, I had just gotten into that on the break and wanted to give it to obviously to the low of the day. But there was a consolidation right here, if I can zoom in for you guys. There was a consolidation right at 1133, and when it bounced through, it was probably worth a scalp trade in there to get some in. Scalp 25 to 35 cents. I've missed it once. I don't know if I want to chase it again. So I got 2 longs already. I was looking for a BFRI short, and it's starting to come right in here. Got distracted by the market pushing through, and now you're already seeing it right back to that 620 level. So probably the fact that I missed out on it when it first popped, probably a good thing, because I'd be stopping out right here. So thankfully I didn't take that trade. But that's pure fluke. Like I should have lost 25 cents if I wasn't looking at the overall move in the market and then trying to find something to trade and looked over at CCL, and that's the one I like.
All right, these are all low positions, obviously, but we will continue just to flush ourselves down the market, down the drain here, as does the market go. Square, that's a one-day chart, just nasty. It breaks that 186, and we get out. I mean, it's going to look bad, but these aren't heavy positions. I'm more just trading here to give. I don't really know why I'm trading here, actually, and I'm probably going to stop now. It's just the market is in a free fall here. We need some of this market to bounce a little bit so I can find some good shorts, because, I mean, I'm not going to short on these bottoms right here, but someone who never shorts always goes long. Justin, the market guy, is ready to rock and roll here, so let's throw it over there. I see that he is off site today. Lucky dude, sitting at home probably putting up his Christmas tree. I don't know what he's doing. Let's ask him. What's up, Justin?
There he is. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy, coming through once again to talk a little bit about some hot topics, if you will, today in the tech land. Justin, what are you looking at this point?
Yeah, a couple stories on my radar this morning. Big one, Square is now blocked. So everybody's changing names, CEOs, lots of movement in the market. So the name change is going to be effective December the 10th. And they're, unsurprisingly, they are doubling down on crypto. Jack Dorsey's been a big fan of that. And certainly some of the crypto things that they've been doing with Square, definitely moving towards the crypto side of things. So crypto for everybody, apparently, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. And name changes apparently are the new hot thing to do as well. Yeah, going to be interesting for Square. We'll touch on this and more, guys, coming up this afternoon. Once again, just after 2 o'clock. Make sure you come back and join us for the final 2 hours of the day. Uber making some changes as well.
Yeah, Uber is jumping on the safety bandwagon. Seems like that's the popular thing to do this week. They're launching some new tools for drivers and passengers. Basically, the tools are reminders for riders to put on their seatbelts, recording the audio during the ride, either for the driver or the passenger, and detection of any sudden route changes or stops before the final destination. So that's going to be rolling out to some users this month, but then nationally across the U.S. At some point next year.
Sounds like some software moves in anticipation of maybe when there is no longer a driver in an Uber. Preparing, anyways, for Uber having a nice day, 3.6% to the upside. I mean, Justin, we have to talk about this Trump media news that came out yesterday, late in the day, $1 billion in a pipe deal. I was kind of joking with Neil this morning, saying this Rumble news then this morning, also a SPAC deal, was interesting timing. What are your thoughts?
Listen, the Trump family has never been shy about expressing their opinions. Certainly when it comes to big tech censorship and some of the things that have happened with with Trump getting kicked off of, I think it's now up to 17 different platforms now. So they are more than happy to turn up the heat in their fight against Twitter and big tech censorship. Listen, I think this is pretty interesting. The Trump name, whether you agree with their politics or not, still carries a lot of weight, still carries a lot of clout, and getting someone as prolific and popular as Donald Trump is always looks good.
And $1 billion more for the war chest, if you will, for Trump media now. So as we said, come back, join us this afternoon, guys, just after 2 o'clock. Justin will come through to discuss all of these and more in depth. In the meantime, you can check him out on Twitter at tradertv.Justin. He's also on the Discord, guys. Reach out, touch base. Give him your thoughts on what matters in all things tech. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brendan.
There we go, guys. Interesting storylines all over the place so far today.
I can tell you one other thing that Justin does there. just bounced the market off the lows. I don't know the timing of that. Sometimes
he definitely did that.
Sometimes it's just obviously he didn't do it, but I mean the timing was perfect. Like the Nasdaq broke the low of the day, rebounded just as he was talking there, 15.8 to the upside. I know because I got to fill in CRM to take some profit, and I'll push this offer back at 260 because this is that cluster we're looking at on the 15-minute. Gets back up to 260, 261. We'll take the rest out. If the market was just able to hold that 15.8 level, and I can actually show you the Nasdaq while I'm talking about it, why wouldn't I? And this is the break. I have a 60-minute chart up. That's what I like to use when I'm looking at the overall market. If this was just a false breakdown, I mean, all you got to do is even if you just retrace this back to 16,000, I think that's going to be good for some of the longs here, especially CRM, which is really starting to go now up to like 259.5. So I think it has a good chance to give that original like $2.5, maybe $3 target. I did take some out of Funware to take some profit in there, and I'm into CCL because I asked myself, if I'm going to look at that news and want to play a short trade, even if the market were to rebound, like what is something which is already coming off and I'm not shorting the low of the day? And I saw CCL just breaking VWAP there, so I started at 85. I can add back in around 17. I like the risk to reward, maybe risk about 20 to 30 cents tops. And then if we do flush and get back to the low of the day, I like the risk to reward there. From some names like these to what's going on in crypto and currencies. And by the way, some decent moves in crypto here today, which I'm sure Brendan will be talking about right now.
Yeah, we've seen some volatility in currency markets over the past couple of days with the inflation headlines. A bit of a pause, if you will, for the U.S. dollar to kick things off here. We're right at 96, so in negative territory, but only just for the DXY. I threw up Bitcoin over here because, trying to bounce once again here today for Bitcoin off 56,000. We got down to 53 at the bottom end, but if you go back in time, this was that 56 area that ended up being a bit of a pivot on the way up here the last time. So trying to bounce off some significant levels for Bitcoin, 56, 400 and change right now, 4,500 for Ethereum. They're both relatively unchanged, but off the lows definitely, as are the rest of these. Turkish lira standing out there having another big time move to the upside today. Both New Zealand and Australia moving in opposite directions, but otherwise pretty flat after the excitement we had from Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen over the past couple of days, guys. U.S. dollar not doing a heck of a lot. Back over to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's funny we said the same thing there. Okay, so Square, we did take that trade through. Unfortunately, it went in the money $1 for us on this last trade, and we didn't take it. I was actually waiting to see if the market was going to rebound, and we could get out somewhere around 190. So we're going to try to hold out, hope for that. We'll average in one more time down here and try to play off that 185 bottom. Obviously, if we're going to be averaging in, we're going to do it a lot lower than this. There's no point. This is not the open anymore, guys. So you have to take that into consideration now. So we take another spot right there at 187, average price 187.30. We're gonna wait till somewhere around here, man, like 186 and change before we really take another trade here on this name. We just got to let this breathe a little bit. Hopefully the market can bounce, and if it doesn't, we don't want to give back what we've already made on Square. So I think this one could be the trade of the day because we could talk about how wicked it was early, and then the market just faded back in. And you heard what Justin had to say there about Square and Block. So, I don't think it's obviously not going to be affecting the stock here today, but I think for the long term, I like Square here. And I think, you got to get into some Square, Coinbase, PayPal, something to do SI. I don't know if you want to look at SI. I don't even know what that's doing either. But, some of these names here for blockchain, Riot, I think they're all coming in. And that's kind of the point, is that you need to start dip buying on some of these names. And I don't think it's a horrible thing to do that right now in the market. Obviously, if you're talking about longer term holdings, I love all these names. But for right now, for today, I still think there's going to be some more downside pressure. I just don't know when it's going to, ease up. Normally it's around noonish, 1 p.m., something like that. So we'll wait to see if that can come through. But I'm going to give Square just one more shot here. Like I said, we're up a lot on this name. So it's my number one stock today. I'm not worried about this. We took like a $4, $5, $6 winner right there. So we can afford to lose a little bit, but we don't want to lose a lot. So let's just be very, very careful with our trades and watch out for Square. We're going to pick up some down here, 186, and then honestly, if we break through 185, we're gone on that name. So Square continues to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, just in a higher time frame when it comes to Bitcoin, I'm going to talk SI in a quick second, but it's 53. That was that recent level. If you kind of pull like maybe like a daily or like a 60-minute chart on Bitcoin, you're going to look at that level. The only reason why I wouldn't necessarily be buying a dip on Silvergate here is just If this stock crushes through 188, and I was definitely wrong, but where I took a bunch of my profits on this stock, because I took a bunch off at 150 on the way back up, and it looked pretty good at the time, but it is what it is now. If this breaks 188, this stock has real room to go, and it hasn't always just it doesn't always follow the overall price movement in Bitcoin. So I think you could break this without breaching 5,300 on Bitcoin, and I would have some concern that would happen. I still do hold some shares of this, and I'm not a buyer until we get back to like the 135 to 140 level. I'm willing to sit out a lot of pain in this thing. Well, I mean, it's not a lot of pain because it's in the money, but a lot of retracement in the SI before I would jump back into them. I think their network is great. Like I said, I got some of CRM out. Going to hold the rest. The only short I got on is CCL. That's going to follow the market in CRM long. That I think maybe fell a little bit too far yesterday, which is why it could hold up better than the overall market today. Brendan, we have some earnings to get to still.
Yeah, a few minutes to go here, guys. We're obviously into that period where we're kind of waiting for the next earnings season to start, which will obviously be in January. But a few names to note for tonight and tomorrow morning.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a little more simple
Larry has
today.
got it all, like, 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, 1 in the middle. Yeah, DocuSign, another name that should continue to work in this environment. And, I like that name. DocuSigns, we can look over Docu. Anything else on there? Asana. Actually, wasn't there some news about Asana there, Brendan? I believe we had something on Asana not too long ago. But
I think we're
DocuSign right now, yeah, not great here today. But what today doesn't mean anything. So you're down to 1% here. Look at how badly this name's been beaten up here. And of course, we're talking about DocuSign just got murdered. I like what they're doing, man. You could sign stuff outside of your offices. I think that works. I like it, but we've seen Zoom miss a little bit and start to head lower. This is, again, another name if you're not in it. I like DocuSign, but there's been a lot of names that haven't really worked great here lately. So I don't know if this is going to be another one, but right now that's the one that I'm looking at, DocuSign, as we're right near these bottoms. So that's going to be an interesting name to go, especially in this environment.
You talked about the chip makers. Brendan talked about the chip makers being down. Marvel reporting today, they're down with them 1.5%. And look, you look at the top that just got made here. This could be one that I could see some downward pressure on. It's been like, again, this just has so much to do with where it's come and how strong it has been. And in this particular environment, it's going to have to look pretty good for it to not breach that 50 period. I think this is a name that comes back down to 58.60. If things get out of hand and we drop like 10 to 15%, that should be a buying opportunity for Marvel. I like them, but you see the weakness in the chip makers. I just see that falling a little bit further. I just got a glimpse of what National Day it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so Ms.
I didn't see, but I'm excited.
Ms. B's got a smile.
it now.
It was a gigantic big screen, so they preview everything for us. So it's like, I know what it is. You guys want to know what it is. You want to see Ms. V tell you what it is. Let's find out.
Hey guys, it's a busy morning so far, and I hope you're all doing great. Please, let's get more likes. We still have more than 5,000 people watching and only 1,200 likes. We ask you to smash the like button, and I believe that we can push it at least to 1.5K likes. Also, please join me in Prague to keep trading right after. And Neil, happy National Fritter Day.
Okay, so a couple of
Hell yeah.
I love fritters. Those are not like apple fritters, the pastry, but those
Something just happened to Square.
Those are delicious as well. What just happened? Oh yeah.
Oh, it's the market.
It's the market just popped. That's on CRM at 260. Square just popped.
Yeah.
Market back up to 59.
Hells yeah.
It's because it's National Fritter Day. You got to hit the buy key
That's right.
when the fritters
Justin
come
sparked the market, and now these guys did too. So, hey, man, let's go. Carnival time here on Square. Neil and I have a couple of these longs that we're starting to go. We talked about dipping in, man. Hopefully you did. We just talked about this. And now here goes Square back up to the upside. So I'm not going to look. One of Neil's words, a gift horse in the mouth. Take some out when that pops up like that, man. So there it is. Bang. We take it out basically at the high of that move. That's going to be a 187 out, 188. So we're going to take about $1.50 on that average price. You can see where we're along now, 187.10. So I guess that trade was probably only 80 cents actually, but now we'll wait to see if it can continue to go up. So there it is right there. National Fritter Day. I like it. Corn fritters, definitely a positive. Talk there. Apple fritter, we like that. Yeah. Brendan, you a fritter guy?
Obviously. How could you not be? I am of the team apple fritter, though, along with Neil. So I would have to say those are my favorite.
It's better than any donut you can get, but the corn fritters
I
are
like
just
a
delicious.
Dutchie. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
what they're called in
yeah.
the States, but I like the raisin aspect there as well.
You know what? Dutchie's just a poor man's apple fritter, though.
Is it a poor man's though? I like blueberry fritters as well, but I would agree. I take apple over all of those. But Tim Hortons here, QSR.
You know what's interesting? This is a weird thing that just recently happened. My daughter loved blueberries from the time the babies love them. You know, like when they're really young, they love blueberries. Now she will not. They have to be like
chocolate.
No, like it's got to be like they've got to be like the fresh. Like she needs to believe they're wild, and it's like. We're not always gonna have wild blueberries. Like, she's like convinced those aren't wild blueberries.
You know what you should do, man?
Anymore.
Just put them in the freezer.
We've tried that.
Oh, you've tried that. I was gonna say because that's pretty hot fire, and then she won't be able to tell. She'll just be like, give me those blueberries.
It's like, how do you know? You're 4. You don't know if they're wild or not.
Look, we're getting a stink eye from Trader Prad because he wants to take this thing over.
Okay.
So let's get ready to rock and roll, man. Trader Prad, Miss V, Neil.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Justin, for pumping the market to the upside there. Very fantastic timing. Still some work to be done.
Which of course he didn't do.
No, he didn't do. He didn't do it. And then work to be put in by Trader Prad and Miss V. Let's go get them.
Let's get them indeed. Welcome back to Memes and Movers. I'm your host, Trader Brad. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Brad. And hey, guys, welcome back, everyone. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and please be kind and smash the like button. Brad, how's your trading day going?
Not the greatest, not the worst either. How about yourself?
All right.
Been having a